thanks for what you do with your podcast and all the rest. You're doing a great job. Hope everybody keeps tuning in. You get a lot of good info, a lot of insights, understandings of how to get strong, how to stay strong, how to use your strength.
You do a great job, dude. You make things better than they are in real life, I think.
If you don't follow Massenomics, y'all do it. Social media, website, everything.
Massenomics.
Oh, welcome back, everyone, for episode 344 of the Massenomics podcast, my favorite podcast, the lifting podcast about nothing, recorded live from western, northeast, South Dakota. My name is Tanner.
And my name is Tommy.
Some weather we've been having, Tommy, huh?
It's been nice, hasn't it?
On what some might call unseasonably nice.
It's really nice. It's like in this just about 70 every day.
I think it was after work today. I was playing outside with the kids, and it was 70 degrees.
Basically no wind.
It's November.
Which never happens either.
No.
Yeah. We will get hit. We will get hit hard.
Well, I think it sounds like we're in for a change pretty soon. There's some cold fronts coming through. I think we're going to...
Oh, boy.
I'm not saying nothing crazy, but just getting back more to in line with where we should be.
Some 50s and some 40s I see here. Okay. Yeah, you can't have it all, can you?
No, but I mean, it was like motorcycle weather here in November.
Oh, I know.
You could have been on the lake with a boat.
I feel like I've seen more convertibles in the last 2 days than I did all summer.
Well, because everyone gets that feeling.
They do. I got to take advantage of this.
Well, and part of it is you get to say hey, I rode my motorcycle in January or in November. Hey, I took out the convertible out in November.
And then a month from now you say, hard to believe I was just on my motorcycle a month ago when there's 3 feet of snow and it's negative 10.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
we haven't even sniffed anything close to snow at this point. But what makes that nice is that we get far enough in the year, and all of a sudden it's it's December. Go ahead and snow now. We've already made it.
I know. Yeah, that is the thing. But then also,
all of a sudden it's May.
It just hits you so hard. Yeah, and then April's come in, and it's still shitty. That's where it gets tough. But yeah, as of right now, we're doing pretty good.
You know what else we're doing good on?
What?
Our training with JUGGERNAUT AI.
Yes, we are.
JUGGERNAUT AI is the training that both Tommy and myself use. You can download the app from the App Store on whatever device that you use there and get training right away.
But actually go to the website, though.
Well, actually, good call out.
Tanner jumped a step there.
Good call out. Go to the website to sign up. It's juggernautai.app. Make sure you go to the website first to sign up because that's where you can use our discount code. It's Massenomics, and that'll save you.
This way like an inch, Tanner.
A squidgen?
Yeah.
How's that?
That's better. That's better.
Okay. And then when you do sign up, make sure to use our discount code. It's Massenomics, and that'll save you 10% for the lifetime of your membership. And this ad can transition real nicely into, Tommy, you just had...
I did. Well, should I read one more ad?
That's true.
I'll probably talk too long. I'll probably talk too long about that.
And then we'll forget about doing this ad.
So you
table that.
Yeah,
We're only halfway through that.
Use code Massenomics.
Yeah.
To save 10% at JUGGERNAUT.
We tabled it.
Yes,
it's
tabled.
Later discussion.
We're gonna mark that one.
Is there any new business? That's what you say in a board meeting. We're tabling it.
See,
I think that's what you say.
I'm just out of the jargon. I haven't been around enough lately. This episode,
the eyes have it.
This episode is also brought to you by Bearfoot Shoes. Most shoes harm your mobility by over-restricting your foot's natural movement. Bearfoot shoes are designed with minimal restrictions so your feet can move the way they're supposed to. Move with more strength and confidence in every step. Bearfoot Shoes was founded by Chris Duffin, who attributes proper foot biomechanics as foundational to his success in squatting and deadlifting over 1,000 pounds for reps. He helped create the company to provide a minimalist shoe that can be worn for anything from deadlifts to walking your dog. Go to www.barefoot.shoes to check out the best minimalist shoes available. And while you're there, use code Massenomics to save 10% on your next purchase.
And we just got a new Barefoot banner flag hanging up in Massenomics Gym. Have you seen it?
It looks great.
Looks real good. Looks real nice.
It really ties that corner of the room together over there.
And I saved 10% on it using discount code Massenomics.
See?
Yeah.
Getting high in
real life.
Supply.
Yeah. Robert's Rules. Do you know about Robert's Rules?
Mm-mm.
I think it's Robert's Rules. That's how you speak in a board in a meeting like that. It's do I have a motion? So moved.
Oh, that's
second.
What that's called? Actually?
That stuff is called Robert's Rules, I'm pretty sure. And, someone listening probably practices that stuff, but I think that's Robert's Rules. That would be, would we like to sell lift short. It's been decided we'd probably like to sell lift shorts for way more than they're worth. Do I have a motion?
Yeah.
And you would
And
say
say
so.
motion.
You'd say so moved.
Oh, really? That's what you say?
You'd say so moved, I believe, and then I would say second. And sometimes it votes. Then sometimes there's an actual vote necessary, but most times there's not. Yeah. So, sometimes there's a roll call vote needed if it's something that's possibly going to be significant, a divided room. They'll actually do a roll call vote. Otherwise, it'll just be all in favor, say aye, all opposed, same sign. I think something like that.
Yeah.
That's what Robert's rules is. I don't really
Okay.
know it, but I was in FBLA, Future Business Leaders of America.
Naturally.
And,
you graduated from one of Canada's top business
No, that was a
schools.
high school thing.
Oh, well,
in high school.
I mean, but you did
I
graduate
graduated
from-
from one of Canada's top
business school. So
high
it makes
school,
sense. You have this long
business.
pedigree
Yeah.
of business experience.
Yeah.
Selling fake shoes and
Yeah.
everything.
But it all goes back to high school, FBLA.
Yep.
Curious if anyone listening out there is
Also took place.
FBLA. Have you heard of
I
FBLA
have heard of that,
before?
yes,
Okay.
yes.
It's somewhat popular in South Dakota.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
And there's certain schools
that focus
where
more harder on
like
that
where
too,
it's just
yeah.
like I suppose it's the same for 4-H. That wasn't big in our school. FBLA was big, and like there was other certain
Was
schools.
FFA big in your school?
No,
Oh,
it
really?
actually didn't exist at the
What?
time.
Really?
Yeah, it does now, but
Wow. See, where I grew up, FFA, the dairy. Well, we also lived in a town with an enormous cheese factory,
Right,
but
right.
there was like national champion like dairy teams that would come out
Right.
like from the
Which
entire
makes a lot of
country,
sense,
which I
yeah.
guess And I kind of just assumed like everyone in the state had this FFA push, but
no, actually, this is just hitting me now. The irony isn't the word, but just kind of how this is relevant here in FBLA as a senior. You go to state, you have a state competition,
yep.
and then if you win state, you make it to nationals. So me and my group of 2 others, we made it to nationals when we were seniors for our business plan project. Which it's funny, our business plan. You know what it was?
selling shoes.
No, it wasn't selling shoes. It was screen printing business.
Really?
Yeah, it was a t-shirt
Wow.
screen printing business. And most cases, for most people, this was almost like a fictitious business
Yeah.
plan. But in our school, part of one of our business classes, you actually ran a screen printing business for real. So we did a business plan on a real business. So it gave us like this kind of like a real
Inside-
business that we were also
inside
running.
look at, yeah.
It gave us like a leg up on everyone else that was kind of like making stuff up. But I'm just that it was a t-shirt screen printing business is kind of
Wow, that is
kind of
interesting,
funny.
Yeah. Do you feel like you knew much about t-shirt screen printing then?
God no. Apparently, I mean, I probably more than a lot of other high schoolers about their
But
made
do you
up
feel like
businesses,
even
but-
compared to now, like it's a whole different level?
Oh,
Not that we
it's
know
way
that
different.
much about
Yeah.
the deep details of screen printing.
And to be honest, I was never actually the one like running, because when you ask me
Yeah.
that, I kind of think about actually running like doing the actual screen printing
you
process.
said, no,
which
guys, I'll handle the micro influencers. Let me take care of that part.
I'll get the
And they
Instagram.
said, it's only 2006. What the hell are you talking
No, they're
about,
like,
man?
they're like, it's 2004. We don't even know what Facebook is yet.
Facebook doesn't come out for a few years, dumbass. Wow. So it kind of goes full circle almost then.
Yeah, the social media influencing was getting on MSN Messenger and messaging all your friends like, "Hey, buy our t-shirts."
Yeah. Real grassroots effort there.
But back to Juggernaut AI, you had your testing day this weekend.
This past Saturday.
Yeah.
And so it was my first ever mock meet. I've never done
in the gym mock meet.
Yeah, I've never done even a test all 3 lifts in one day. That's not
You've just
a
done
powerlifting
it at the
meet.
gym before.
Yeah,
or at a powerlifting meet
or
before.
anywhere. Yeah,
Right.
I've the only time I've ever tested all 3 in one day was at a powerlifting meet.
Yep.
And so I was very curious how that was going to go. Training, my first. So what was it? Is Juggernaut? Is it 26 weeks by default? Is that?
I don't know if it's always this.
I mean, if you let it go as long,
yeah,
I think it's
yeah,
about 26.
okay.
It's about a half a year, I think.
And I don't know if it's different depending on if you start with a bridge block.
Yeah,
and
that will
stuff
change
it
it
probably
too.
just adds to it.
But I think if you just tell it, let me do powerlifting, I have no date. I think it wants to go about 26 weeks.
yeah.
And which at the time, what was that? April-ish? Half a year, 6 months? That seems so far away.
I can't even think of things that were that
it's,
far.
it's
that
like
long
the
ago.
amount of things that could happen in my life in this time. You know, could have a baby, which we did.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
A lot can go on, but anyways, the time goes on, training happens. I was feeling really great for a while. Right when I was getting to the peak, started to not feel the best with just the new baby, had a minor back tweak, starting to really get stressed that maybe I was going to get off track, but it all came back together at the end. You just got to kind of, as dumb as it sounds, you got to trust the process. You do.
Classic.
You got it. You got to. And so we arrive at test day, and the one thing I was really interested in, well, obviously I want to know how strong I'm going to be, but the speed at running, because when you do a powerlifting meet, it's like an all-day thing.
Yeah, and it's out of your control.
It's out of your control. You're just going with the flow.
You're at the mercy.
And this, I have a wife and kids, so it's kind of also out of my control. I'm not going to be at the gym for 8 hours. That's not going to fly. I'm not going to be there for 5 hours. So I kind of wanted to do it almost as fast as I could.
Well, it's out of your control in the other direction. At a meet, usually, a meet's basically always too slow.
Yeah.
Like compared to what you want to do, 9 times out of 10 from our experience at least.
Yeah. So I got there, and I think from the time I took my first attempt, and I stuck to 3 attempts and everything. I didn't want to go 4. There's not enough energy and time for that. So I took 3 attempts and everything. From the time I took my first attempt squat to the time I took my last attempt deadlift, I believe it was about 2 hours exactly.
Yeah, I was going to say probably 2 hours wouldn't be.
Probably,
it'd be hard to do it much faster.
Yeah,
than that,
I was going to say, if I had to say, that is a touch on the fast end,
right?
For what I'm used to,
right?
And so I guess we'll talk more about that. But starting squats was the thing I was most excited on. Squats always been my favorite lift,
and it's been going good.
It's been going good. I do feel like I'm getting stronger there, and I still hadn't really felt like I ever found a true, even on the RP 10 days. I just felt like I could never quite get there. Like it was still always like an 8.5 or a 9 is about all the closer I could ever get. Even when I felt like I was taking big jumps. So I had the last time, I don't know if it was 3 weeks ago into the peak when you're kind of supposed to go for a heavy single.
Yeah.
I had what in my mind at the time seemed like the absolute limit, and I believe that was 440 or 445.
Yep.
And
it
thinking
was like easier than your warm up before that.
Well, so like a month ago, whatever, I did that 445. Like I picked that number thinking that would be a true RP 10, and I did it, and I was like, damn, that was still not a 10.
Yeah, right.
So then you get closer to this, and you're thinking, God, is the number 450? Is it 460? Where's it at? And I ended up going with 455, and I still think I undercut it by at least 10 pounds.
That's what I was going to say. That definitely wasn't like... Actually, I think it was Chad at the gym. Maybe we even had this conversation. Sometimes what's tricky is with the rating of RPE, you'll say...
Well, it's like
something wasn't really, maybe it didn't feel like an 8, and you wouldn't call it a 9, but it's not really a 10 because you could have done. You're not saying you could have done it for 3 reps, but you're saying I know I could have done 1 rep with more weight than that.
Like, okay, I'm not going to do 455 again,
right?
But at the same time, I could have done more than
right.
That is where RP gets really tricky.
Right.
And there's people that know way more about it that could probably say what's right there. But yeah, it did feel good to get done with that one. Like in my head, it felt pretty fast. It felt faster than my second attempt. It almost felt faster my third because
you're just more excited.
Your first attempt, you're kind of almost like not turning it on yet. It's like, okay, we're still kind of going through the motions. And also, until you get to a training day, or a testing day, that like really turning it on is something that you don't get very often. So once you like really get in the zone, you get everything, like you get the wrist straps as tight as you can, the belt as tight as you can. You get the chalk, ammonia. I almost never use ammonia just because I'm always just like, all right, I don't need to get like major stimulation for everything.
Living Dead girl turned up to 30, turned up to 31.
Yep.
If you go to Massenomics gym, you know what turned up to 31 means.
There's a sign. It says 30 is the limit. Yeah. But you go, nope, we're going to 31 today. You do all those
31
things.
And bust the knob off.
That's right. You do all those things and you're in a different mind space all of a sudden, And you take that third attempt and you think, damn it, that was easier than the second attempt. And so it did feel really good to walk away, look at the video, and then watch the video and be like, that looked even faster than I thought. So that was like, it was almost if the day would have ended there, I'd have been like, oh, that was fine for me. That was good.
Yeah.
But I do feel pretty confident after looking at that I did 455. It felt good. The real max is probably closer to 465, probably between 465 and 475.
Yeah.
Which is really good because I had to go back and look it up in powerlifting because I can't remember these numbers. I'm weighing like 205 right now. The last time I weighed this much when I did a meet, my best squat on that day was like 440. And I'm like, sweet.
So you're
body weight PRs.
Right.
This is a win-win here. There's nothing to lose. Like this is all
what
good.
What were your first 2 weights?
I think I did in that meet or in this test or
in the test.
So I did, and this is the other thing. I followed what Juggernaut had, and it was also a little more aggressive than I feel like what I typically call in a meet. Not that I know what the hell I'm doing in a meet at all, but I believe the first attempt was 425. I think it was like 420 or 425, 440, 445 right in the, it's where I'm up by like 5 pounds. So it made like a 20-pound jump. And then for the third attempt, I wanted to do about a 10-pound jump, but I bumped it 5 more to 455.
Yeah.
So yeah, all in all, I think it covered about 35, 40 pounds, which I always feel like I do closer to like a 10 or closer to like a 10% gain on that, which would be, well, I guess about 45 pounds. Yeah, that would be in that case.
You think 10% from rep 1 to rep 3, from attempt 1 to attempt 3?
I feel like that's usually where I'm at about. And not that that's right, but I know like when I squatted 545, like my opener I think was 500.
It does make sense to talk about it. It does, I think, when you say that, makes sense to talk about it in terms of percentage. Percentage change, because then someone, if they're squatting
pounds can be so far off.
But if you talk about someone that squats 700 pounds, well, maybe they gain 10% between their two, but for them it's 75.
And even like when I think about bench, like when I was taking around 330 on my third attempt in bench in a meet, my opener was right around 300. My second attempt was kind of in that 315, 320 range, and then third attempt was about 330. Deadlift kind of did the same thing too, and maybe that's just I don't know if that's right or not, but. So anyway, squat gets done. I feel great. I'm excited. And after that, honestly, like the rest of the day, it's hard to get that excited about because that was the lift I was most excited for.
Right.
Bench, I went into that one. I'd done 305 multiple times. And for me, on bench, the line between like looking pretty fast and not moving it is a very fine line. And doing 305 multiple times, I knew I had that. That was my second attempt. And it was just going to be, all right, is it 310 or is it 315? And I'm like, I'm pretty sure I can get 310 clean. 315 will be a battle.
But it's 315 on the bar.
Yeah, it's 315.
That's
you got
kind
to.
of
You can't. You can't not like take the extra even plate there.
Yeah.
So I put
310 is like the most annoying weight.
It is.
On the bar
it
too.
sucks. It sucks.
Yeah.
So I put 315 on. I was just doing touch and go. I'm in the gym. I'm not pausing anything here. And I'm also not like I'm doing big bounces either. But
right.
Touch and go. It was like halfway up. And it just stopped. And I kept pushing. I hadn't had to really grind any reps out. Like that's kind of a thing that I haven't addressed much lately.
Yeah.
And then I felt my butt coming up a little bit, and then I could feel the bar moving, and I'm like, "Well, what's going on?" I don't think I've ever lifted my butt off the bench ever like that. It's never been something I've done.
Yeah.
And then I remember in my head thinking, "All right, butt down," and then it felt like it stopped again. My butt came up and started moving, so it wasn't. It wouldn't have been a clean lift, and not that my butt wasn't coming up by like 6 inches. We're talking like
if you wouldn't have said that, I don't think I would have even noticed.
Yeah, if anything, it came up maybe an inch,
right.
And that'd be it. But it's not a feeling I've ever felt before. So in my head, it felt like I was like standing off the bench. Yeah. But I got 315 again, so it's nice to know I'm back in that club. That's always
get too. Yeah.
That's always a good milestone to be back in there.
The old three wheels.
It is. And then the last one, and this is the least exciting. I almost at this point was like, do I even need to do this? Because I had just been doing trap bar.
Did you feel tired at all?
A little. It was more my enthusiasm was running out because trap bar deadlift didn't. I got my squat PR, or I got my squat number. I was back at 3 plates. I'm like, there's nothing I can do here that's going to get me excited because I've been doing trap bar deadlift this whole time.
Right.
Just because it felt the best on my back and my other things are moving. And those are the only ones that I really care about those other ones. I don't care about deadlift that much. And so I'm like, okay, I'll go max out in trap bar deadlift.
Yeah.
And a couple weeks ago, I had done 485, 480 or 485, whatever it is. And it was really easy. And so I'm like, that will be my second attempt. My third one will go 500 or 505.
Yeah.
You know, that's great number to be at there.
Yep.
And so second attempt, 45, it was the first time I've ever, since I've been doing trap bar deadlift, or I ever had to actually think about breaking it off the floor. Like it felt slow, but then once it goes, it's fast. And then third.
Someone asked about the trap bar. We have the Kabuki, Kabuki trap bar is the kind that you're using.
Yes, it is the Kabuki one. 66 pound bar.
Yep.
And
30 kilo bar.
Third attempt at this point, I had to start getting the show on the road. Third attempt, I get the 500 on.
Did you use ammonia for it?
I did use ammonia. I used ammonia for all 3 of my third attempts. Nose bleach, obsidian ammonia. They know what's up.
It just hits.
It does just hit a little different. And I started going, and It wasn't there. It wasn't there. And at that point, I was tired. Like I did after, like, as soon as that was done and like all the adrenaline's done and you just stop for a second, you go, damn, I'm actually pretty tired right now. A lot's happened in the last 2 hours.
Yeah.
So I guess in my mock meet, I went 8 for 9. My gym lifts 8 for 9. I was happy with that. It was, if I would have missed my third attempt squat, missed my third attempt bench, and I went 6 for 9 on the day, I think I would have walked away feeling a little bit, yeah, but squat PR, good bench number, deadlift, fine enough, whatever. I was really happy with it. So
yeah, that is a good day.
So that's, I guess,
Juggernaut strikes again.
Yeah, 26 weeks of Juggernaut. I can say I was very excited. I did walk away from that feeling like I am justified even more now, and that Juggernaut is the right thing. And it got me that I left the gym, I laid on the couch, and I already started building my next program because I was so excited for it. I was asking about the bridge block and all that.
Yep.
So I'm actually going to be going on vacation in like a day and a half here. So I'm just going to delay doing
North
the bridge
Dakota,
block thing.
here you come.
Going 50 miles north. So I'm delaying starting my bridge block by about a week, but I will be starting that. And I'm excited to kind of mix it up, do a little different training. But it's no walk in the park from what you say.
God, no. Oh. Just if you're looking for a walk in the park on the bridge block, you'd be sorely disappointed.
You're looking
Although
in the wrong place.
you do start to adapt to it pretty quickly.
Well, that's
and I
what
talked
he
to Chad about that, and he said that's
Is it just conditioning, work capacity all get built up?
I guess so.
Relatively quick?
I guess so. And especially this isn't Chad talking, this is me and my uneducated opinion. It's just like maybe when you're so inefficient at something, it's easy to make progress in it quickly. You know what I'm saying? Like when you're like,
just starting from
I'm
like,
not used to these 60-second rest periods, so I do that for a week or two, and all of a sudden, like, I am making progress on this way faster than
it's those newbie gains.
right. And like some of the cardiovascular stuff, I think just is you can make that progress on that a lot faster than muscular
Building
strength.
Yeah.
You know, obviously. So I do think, and maybe part of it's mental too, or you just get used to like, oh,
Not feeling
gotta do my next set.
Not
Yeah.
feeling absolutely 100%
Right.
going into, or like completely rested going into every set.
Right. So, but it's fun. I like it because it is a change of pace for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And then now I'm, in my 5th week of it. I've got one more week left, and I'm excited to get out of it too. So it's just like makes me want to do the next thing.
Yes, and that's what I like too, is the phases. Is There's
Yeah.
never ever a point, well, there might be a point where you feel like you've been doing something a long time, but it always is moving on to the next thing.
Yeah.
I mean, as long as you like squatting, benching, and deadlifting, like you have to like those 3. If you don't like those 3, you're going to be in trouble. But as long as you like those 3,
Or
there's
at least
enough.
like you like at
Like
least
2
two
of the
out of
3.
3 and you
Yeah.
tolerate the third. In most people's cases, that's true.
That's my case too. Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
most people, that's kind of true.
Yeah, very few
usually.
people like all 3.
Yeah,
It's just
right.
like, oh, I like these 2, and I guess I have. It's just the
I'll
game
do
you
the other
play, you
one.
got to do the third one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's my in-depth review. 26 weeks later of Juggernaut. I'm signing up for another 26 weeks.
That's good.
It is a little scary though to see once you put a 6-week bridge block in. Actually, it puts you out at 32 weeks. So
Yeah.
the testing date is now July of 2023. What? That's way too far away.
Little C's there. Are you familiar with this? Got a little game here. I'm guessing you're somewhat familiar with it.
I do like little games. Oh, I got a can if we need.
Oh, let's
something
do
to
a
drink.
can. Yeah.
I do want you to put a blindfold on. I'm going to give you a
Okay.
hint and say we have had this before.
Okay.
But it has been a little while.
It's been a hot minute.
Okay. Would you say the blindfold enhances the sexiness?
That's what it does. Oh, I can feel the sparkling water in the air with the touch of my fingers. Give this. Ooh, that's mildly crispy crack. Not getting much. Might just smell my hand.
I think you'll come around on this.
Ooh. That's not fruity. Where am I at here? That's not fruity at all. What are we dealing with here? Oh, yeah. This is not, and I'm not cheating here. I haven't seen anything, but you don't have holdover uglies, do you?
I don't know. Do I?
Is this a holdover ugly?
Do I?
Because what it tastes like to me is the ugly birthday cake flavor, I think. Or what it tastes like to me is cream soda.
Mm-hmm.
But what I remember about the ugly birthday cake is like 2 times at least calling it cream soda and then finding out it's ugly birthday cake. My guess is ugly birthday cake.
Oh, you got it. The fridge was almost completely empty, except there was like 3 or 4 of those in there. And I thought, that's pretty old, but let's be real, it's water. It shouldn't expire, right? So I forgot how this tasted, because the last time I had one of these was on the podcast. I remember not really liking it that much, but having it now, my first thing was, this is cream soda. And I don't remember, now that you say it, it's coming back to me, but I don't really remember saying that at the time.
I like this one. I always liked this one. I love uglies, and this is like, we could have probably sold this second hand on the internet because you can't buy ugly anymore. They're defunct. And my personal stock ran out a little while ago, so.
Yep, I still got just a couple left.
Back in my day, you could just go on the internet and buy some uglies. Not anymore.
Let's put you to bed, Grandma.
All right, we've got 2 things. We've got the Rogue Strongman competition was this last weekend also. Not just your mock meet, but also the Rogue.
That was this weekend too.
Yeah, and I did. So Rogue had full streams of it all day long, and it was like CrossFit competition, Strongman competition, going back and forth. And I didn't watch any of it live. What I would do is watch the next day. I'd skim through the Strongman stuff, and the notes of interest that I wrote down here. Novikov won.
Mm-hmm. I saw that.
It's the first time he's ever beat Martins Lisis in a competition.
Really?
Actually, because of the way it's lined up with them competing and stuff.
Just injuries and things like that. That actually kind of surprises me a little bit.
Yep. Trey Mitchell got second.
Okay.
Mitch Hooper got third, and Lisis got fourth. The defending champ of that competition, Lisis got fourth. That's all one thing. But what I would also mention, the other Ukrainian, other than Novikov competing here, was, I think his name is Pavlo. Someone can tell me what his name is. Pavlo, some last name that I can't pronounce. This guy, I would wager a lot of you haven't seen him before. Maybe some of you have, Tommy. I'm guessing you haven't seen him before.
I don't think I have.
If someone on the Discord could post a picture of Pavlo, the most ridiculous looking strongman I've ever seen.
Really?
Yes. He won the deadlift event. Like Martins and Trey and a bunch of them came out and knocked out like 8 or 9 reps of this 900-pound deadlift. And he came out and did 12. And that was the first event. And I was like, oh my God, well, who is this? Like,
he's pretty broad. He's very wide.
Absolutely ridiculous. Shirts do not sit right on him.
And he's one of those guys where I wouldn't use the word like really like, he's not like cut. He's just so freaking like, he has that like gigantic farm boy look kind of, you know?
Yeah. And he, especially when you see him in comparison to all these other enormous guys. He looks like an absolute freak amongst freaks.
Yeah. He is really big.
Bobby Thompson came out and did well in quite a few events. I think he ended up in 6th place is where he was at. He had some good events in there. Some that I think you'd say he probably didn't perform as good as he wanted to in a couple of them.
But he looks good though.
There he is with Brian Shaw.
Yes, that's what I had down here too. Yeah.
Yeah, and Bobby was wearing the Massenomics
He's
shirt.
definitely out angling Brian in that picture without a doubt.
Big Bobby was wearing the Massenomics shirt, and he did tell me that Rogue didn't like that.
Sticking it to the man. Well, we like that. They're like, those assholes came out with a rack-mounted beverage holder before we could.
The other thing I would notice, they did have Rogue put out a few really cool apparatuses. One was, the coolest was the Roga coaster, which was a arm-over-arm pull, where they were sitting behind the apparatus, and I assume the rope went up on a pulley and came back to what looked like a single car roller coaster up a roller coaster that they built. And it had like 2 Rogue sandbags, big heavy sandbags sitting inside of it. And when you got to the top of the roller coaster, the event stopped once the sandbags fell out at the top, and that's how you had to complete it. Like, because people were getting so tired at that, and they're like barely creeping, and the bags are like
Just hanging on. Wouldn't
yeah,
quite
you got,
go.
yeah. So that was ridiculous. That setup that they had was super cool, and then the deadlift thing that they had was ridiculous.
Yeah,
like
okay, did I see?
it was a
like
giant
on a platform
thing,
kind of?
yeah, it was a 12-foot high platform with like barrels underneath that you're picking up. So like when they're deadlifting, they don't even really see it. Like you only see it when you're looking at it from the
So
front.
were they like going up levels then, or how was that working? Or was it just
No, you walked up this big stairway and up there, then you deadlifted. The bar like stuck up from way down below was this giant thing you were picking up, and it was quite the
spectacle?
Yeah, it was quite the spectacle, I'd say. And Thor was there, and he broke his weight over bar record. So Andy talked about how he might be back. How he just he doesn't really he didn't really like boxing that well, and he just loves strength sports, and he has been training a little bit more. And
didn't he? Did I see? Is he doing a powerlifting meet? Wasn't
yes,
that mentioned?
that is what he's going to do. Yeah. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see him back in Strongman again at some point, kind of based on what he said.
Yeah,
and is up a little bit in weight. He
was really lean for a while there. So.
Yeah, and I think he said he was like 145, which is still like 330.
Yeah,
and now I think he said he's 160 maybe.
Okay,
which is like
so the kilos are adding up.
He's probably over 350 right now.
Just got to get him up to 4 in those mid fours. He'll be making a run at it again.
Yeah. So that it was a cool event, though. It seemed like Rogue was doing some pretty sweet stuff with their setup and the infield, like commentators and the interviewers, and
like they were definitely putting effort.
Oh, they had Laws was one of the main commentators, and then they brought in Brian Shaw because he wasn't competing, and then Jerry Pritchett and several others, and a bunch of people keep saying Jerry Pritchett, like a mysterious R at the end of his last name, Jerry Pritchett.
Is there an R in it?
I don't think there is, but several people said that. So is that how you say his last name? Because I've always said Pritchett, because I think that's how it looks like it's spelled. But
there is no R at the end. It's Jerry.
Multiple people said Pritchett, and I'm like, did somebody just say that wrong? And everyone, that's what they think it is now.
I think, yeah, it's one of those things.
Yeah.
Someone said it and everyone got it in their head.
Yeah.
That's how you say it. Interesting. Yeah, I don't see. I'm looking at it here. I just see one R. It's in the second letter. So
that settles it. It is Jerry Pritchett. So just so everyone knows. Okay, so that was the Rogue Strongman in a nutshell. Now, the moment everyone's been waiting for. Has he seen it?
Oh,
1993 edition. This is a relatively new, fast-growing segment of the Massenomics podcast.
We say relatively new. If people haven't been listening, we started with movies from the year 1900,
And we're up to
on
1993
now.
Year by year. We pick 7 movies every week, and 1993 was a hard one. I had to nick some off of the list.
Because there was just some heavy hitters.
Actually, I've got
this year?
8 right now. We're just going to do 8 even, because I had like 11 originally.
There's just so many.
Yeah, there were so
bangers?
many. There was so many that I'm like, I kind of just like all of these.
Okay, 8. So I have to pick a number that I've seen off of 8.
Yeah.
If you're
and
hyping it up,
here's what else I would say. I think you'll do pretty well on this one.
then I'm gonna go. Do I want to go 5? I'm gonna go 5.
Let me
I'm
see
just
if
gonna-
I think you'll
I'm
be
just
at
gonna
5.
take your
I
word
think,
for it. I'm gonna go 5. One of these.
I think you'll be close.
That's
Could
close?
be. You might be at 4.
Two's
I
too
don't know.
low. Two's too
Yeah,
low.
Yeah. That'd be just be
4
25%.
just seems like I'm playing too conservative.
Okay.
So I'm gonna say 5.
1993, Tommy. Have you seen it? Tombstone.
This is one of those that I've never sat and watched the entire thing. I've seen decent chunks of it multiple times, but I can't in good
Full
faith
yeah.
say that I've actually watched all of Tombstone.
So that's a no.
No, I have not seen Tombstone.
Okay. I thought that might be a no. Next, have you seen it? Coneheads.
Yes. It's
Yeah.
been a long time, but
Okay.
when I was a kid, Coneheads was pretty awesome.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was unsure of that one.
Yep.
This next one, I'm pretty sure you've seen it.
Coneheads, one package of chewing gum.
Yeah. Have you seen it? Dazed and Confused.
Oh, yeah.
Of course, that's a yes.
Yes.
Often talked about on the Mass
Who
Audio
hasn't
podcast.
seen that movie, right?
The thing I like about that movie is it keeps getting older, but we stay the same age.
Well, isn't the so that was 93. Like the whole joke is that movie was made closer to 1970 because is it 76 or 77?
Yeah.
Is the year. Like that movie was made closer to that than we are
to that night to 1993.
Like that's so far ago.
Yeah, right.
What, 30 years ago?
Right.
Man.
Getting old. So you're 2 for 3. This is like an unprecedented.
Yeah, I've actually probably out of, and not even intentionally, but probably out of every movie we've ever mentioned on the show so far, I've probably seen Dazed and Confused the most.
And it was twice.
Yeah. As I say, it's still not that many times, but yeah.
Have you seen it, Mrs. Doubtfire?
I have. It's it's been a really long time. That's one of those
Robin
movies.
Williams.
Yeah, like I feel like when you were a kid, it was on a lot, like between friends' houses and maybe TV or something. I always, even when I was a little kid, I just thought it was kind of creepy and weird that this guy was dressing like this grandma. I honestly probably haven't seen that movie since I was in like 3rd grade. But
that's
I have seen it.
3 out of 4.
I have seen it.
I had a feeling 93 was good. Well, 93 is a good year for movies. I will tell you that. There's some we're not even going to talk about today that I could have that are much better than other ones that have been on the prior year's list. Have you seen it? Sandlot.
Oh yeah.
So you're 4 out of 5.
Sandlot, I feel like, is one of those movies that they make you watch before Christmas break in school. You know, they got to show you a movie, so they pick that. But even outside of that, it's kids playing baseball. Like
I used to assume you've seen all these, but I've trained myself now not to assume
to not
like
think anything. Yeah.
Yeah. So, have you seen it? I think you've seen this one too. Son-in-Law.
Oh
Yeah.
I've seen Son-in-Law a million times too. Well, okay, it kind of works. You're picking comedies. I think if you picked more comedies, I would say yes to it.
And it's not that it's just 93. There was so many good.
Yeah.
I'm like all of these so far. Had the feeling I can't not pick that because how can we cover this year and like not talk? How could we not hit on Dazed and Confused, Sandlot,
Son-in-Law? I would have never guessed those are all from the same year though. That actually surprises me.
So you're 5 for 6.
I've seen the first time I saw Son-in-Law, I thought it was one of the funniest things I'd ever seen. I was probably like 8 at the time. That was hilarious. It still is really funny. Don't they go? Isn't it Vermilion, South Dakota? Isn't that where they go to?
Is that right?
They go to South Dakota. I can't remember where they say they. I mean, obviously the movie wasn't filmed in South Dakota,
right?
But, Son-in-Law is great. It's hilarious. I saw Pauly Shore do stand up one time in Watertown. And it was really funny because he's not very good at stand-up. His opener was significantly better than him. But it was hilarious. He's like, God, your guys' town is just so, like, brown and dirty. Like, he goes, you guys should be on Extreme Makeover Town Edition. And he just kept ripping on the town, which is very funny.
A while, people are like,
I think the crowd doesn't care for this, but I found it funny. So.
Yeah. Second to last one. Right now, you're 5 for 6. Have you seen it? Rookie of the Year.
I have not seen Rookie of the Year.
Rookie of the Year is good.
It's a baseball one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't want to spoil the
What one
plot
is that
for you.
one?
He trips on a baseball.
Oh,
and
is that
gets
was his arm he
yeah,
can throw?
where
Oh, why did I think that's a Disney movie, isn't it, or not?
I don't know that for sure.
That's another one I have seen parts of. Henry Rowan Gardner, is that? Yeah.
Ron Gardner, and he never gets his.
Yeah, I had a buddy that would do that all the time.
Loaded.
I've seen parts of that movie. I've never actually seen it because sports movies. That's kind of the thing.
Well, there's a theme here for these last ones then, because right now you're 5 of 7. Last one. Have you seen it, Rudy?
I've never seen Rudy. No.
5 for 8.
I called it.
Yep.
That's pretty good. Yeah, you're gonna get me on sports movies. I have a really hard time. Now I'd be more open to them, but when I was a kid, I thought sports movies were so cheesy and sucked and so lame and boring, so I would never watch them. I mean, they still kind of are cheesy and sort of lame, and you sort of know what's going to happen for the most part, but I have more of a tolerance for that.
Rudy is a sports movie, of course, but it's more of a. I mean, it's like a less of a sport. I mean, I don't know. I don't even know what I'm saying there, but it's good.
Yeah. I have no doubt that it's good.
It does all revolve around football, I guess, but like to me, it is a little bit. It's not. They're not playing in the.
Right. It's not like extended scenes of these long football games.
It's more about like him and I don't know. I don't really know how to explain that, but it just seems different than some of them.
Yeah, it's definitely a movie I'll add to the short list we made this week.
Yeah, 5 for
5
8.
for
New,
8?
new world record.
Woo. So do we have any like honorable mentions for movies that you thought could have made the cut?
What's the one? It's not called like Walking Tall. It's
Big
where
old
the guy
Scant said the Firm, Tom Cruise. I've not
The
seen the
Firm,
movie, but I've
yeah.
read the book.
The Firm was Pelican Brief. Did I notice that one from 93 also? And
That's the same guy, isn't it? Isn't it? Or the same guy wrote both those books, I believe.
is that James Patterson or something like that?
No, is it?
I don't know.
What the hell's the guy's name? But yeah, okay. So what were some other ones though?
Oh, what's the walking one? Anyone listening where like the guy walks across the town?
Is it David Baldacci? Is that his name that wrote those ones? The walking guy. What's
Falling Down. That's what it is. Yeah, I assumed you hadn't seen that anyway, so I didn't put it on, even put on
I
the
don't
list.
I don't even think I've heard of that.
Scant said John Grisham.
John Grisham. There you go. Yes.
Samsonite.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
close.
Falling Down is a good movie, but I just knew you did. I was 100% sure you hadn't seen it, so I didn't even didn't get it on there.
Army of Darkness was in 93, huh?
So that's 93. Stay tuned next week for 1994.
Oh, I can't wait.
We did have a couple supporting our supporting members. And I'm just messaging our guest quick.
To tell him we have one of the fastest growing segments
Yeah,
coming up, so he's going to have to hold on.
Yes. Supporting our supporting members. So just like Tommy said, it is one of our fastest growing segments. And what we do is the people that choose to be supporting members of our podcast, we like to give back to them each week. We give back to them a number of ways. They get discount codes, early access on drops or early info on drops, special sales, all kinds of stuff that they get. And they get to listen to the podcast live each week if they want to on our Discord. And then also each week they could make it into supporting our supporting members like these following individuals did. Big Brand competed this weekend. He went 9 for 9 on the day, had a really big day.
Yeah, some big lifts there.
PRs across the board. State record deadlift included. He did a 551 squat, 402 bench, and 716 deadlift for a 1669 total.
Damn.
Nice.
Couldn't have wrote that one up any better.
Oh, that's a big day, though. Broke the 400 bench, broke the 700 deadlift, over 550 squat.
Mm-hmm.
9 for 9. Looked like a USAPL meet for Big Brand. Good job. Big Jeffrey just did his third strongman competition 2 weeks ago, and his fourth one is coming up next week. So
he's really living that strongman life.
Yeah, Big Jeffrey. Keep on keeping on. Big Sylvan totaled 1385 in his meet. He had a 495 squat, 313 bench, and 582 deadlift. Good, well-rounded numbers there, too. Big deadlift for Big Sylvan.
Really solid.
And then last here, there was a Discord crew meetup at the Elite FTS compound
I saw
at the
that.
Swiss Symposium in Columbus.
Yep, we missed out.
Big Susan, Big Emmett, and Big Eddie had a blast attending seminars from former guests / friends of the podcast, including Brian Carroll, Jim Wendler, Mike Israetel, Juju Mufu, Dave Tate, Stan Efferding, Ed Cohn, and Bill Kazmaier.
What a standout group of individuals there.
Big Eddie was called up in several sessions to participate and showcase movements with speaker adjustments, improvements, including Juju Mufu, Mike Israetel, and Ed Cohn. So good job, crew.
Yeah, looked like that was a fun time.
That was fun.
That would almost be overload. Going
That's
to
a lot of
something
people.
like that.
Yeah.
That
would be cool.
It would be very, very cool. But between all of I'm just thinking my brain, between all the socializing and also the learning and everything and the sheer number of people around, it'd be a lot to take in.
For sure.
Overwhelming.
How many JD Power and Associates awards did you give this?
I'm remembering the first couple sips are really good, and it
doesn't sit perfectly with you.
Yeah, it gets old to me in a hurry. This is probably a 3 at most.
Yeah, you gave it a 3 last time.
Did I really?
I gave it a 4 before, and I'll stick with my 4 because I like this one.
Wow, okay.
I like uglies. I'm just
consistent, I
quite
guess.
partial to uglies.
The flavoring is good and everything if you're into that, and it's strong, but I'm just kind of on the fence on that one.
Yeah, I could get that though too. Like I could get how that wouldn't hit quite right to everyone. But you know what does hit quite right to everyone?
I got a feeling I know what this is.
I'll tell you what.
I got a feeling.
This is the Strength Company we've set out to build a better barbell plate on American soil. We ended up here at Wisconsin's legendary Wapaka Foundry. With over 60 years of ironworking experience, the foundry had the knowledge, technology, and processes to build our weights to our exact specifications. The Strength Company plates are slim but rugged, smooth but easy to grip, and electro-coated for durability and to look great in your gym. This is the next generation of American iron. Only available from the Strength Company.
That tonight's gonna be a good night.
Thank
you, Strength Co.
Just want
Tonight's the night
Fergie and Will I Am know how to get a party
that
started.
we left Strength Co plates.
This episode is also brought to you by SwissLink. In 1995, Maurice Big Mo Huffman founded SwissLink. He had a partner based in Switzerland, and their mission was to bring authentic Swiss Army goods to the United States and into the hands of those yearning for quality gear at uncompromised prices. Over the year, that mission expanded to nations across Europe and beyond. Now, for nearly 3 decades, Big Mo has been traveling far and wide in search of the best items for military forces around the world. Big Mo doesn't only find authentic military clothing for SwissLink, he brings in everything you can imagine, from Czech Army bedpans to Italian champagne glasses. At SwissLink.com, you can find classic military surplus uniforms, a great selection of military-issue backpacks, tools, wool blankets, NATO fuel cans, gas masks, emergency food, first aid kits, survival packs, camping gear, and so much more. SwissLink's unrivaled collection and dedication to quality customer service sets them apart from the rest. Treat yourself to the real thing with authentic military surplus and use code MASS, M-A-S-S, to save 15% off your order from SwissLink.com. That's code MASS at SWISSLINK.com. Thank you, SwissLink. And Tanner, we talked about it a while ago. You were hyping up their blanket selection. Yeah. I did look. They do have some pretty impressive blankets. They do.
There. Those wool blankets.
They are.
A surefire can't
good.
miss at a good price.
Some really nice patterns.
Yeah.
So if you don't want to go the military route, they got banging wool blankets over there.
That's right. Great for Christmas gift ideas.
Yeah,
just like the Strength Co plates.
Big Keith asked about the Aberdeen meat. We basically have to make a decision on that in like the next couple weeks.
It's been tabled as of now.
Yes, it is tabled at the moment, but we are going to make a decision. I mean, we have to. There's just not enough time, so we will have an answer there somewhat soon. We'll circle back.
We'll circle back on that one.
Put a pin in that one. We'll circle back.
Yes, we do have a quorum. All right, should we kick off the Discord and call our guest, Big Alan?
Yep, let's do it.
All right. We'll put a pin in that.
By Discord.
We'll put a pin in the Discord.
They've been pinned.
We'll circle back to them. But for now, we'll circle to Alan.
Hello.
Big Alan, is that you?
It is me.
Oh, you're live on the Massenomics podcast with Tanner and Tommy.
What's up, Alan?
What's up, man?
Hey, long time no talk.
Yeah. How you guys been?
We're good.
Do you know what the episode number was the last time?
I think we talked to Alan back in 2020. I don't know what the episode number was. It's probably about 100 episodes ago or something like that. Yeah. So, that
I thought it was number 1.
Well, number 1 in our hearts, but not number 1 in actual numeric order.
Damn.
Yeah. So you sound a little bit different than last time we talked to you. Is anything different about you?
My voice is deeper or higher or what?
I don't know. It sounds like you have less hair or something like that.
Yes. Yeah. There's no filter between me and the phone. It's just, yeah. Yep.
It's just,
that's it.
It's just 100% Alan now. You did get a big haircut though.
Yes.
For most people, that wouldn't be exciting news if they get a haircut, but when you don't get a haircut or a beard cut for that long, it kind of is big news when you do it.
Yeah, it was pretty wild. It was a big step, but I was ready to do it.
Was it just you woke up one day and decided it was time, or was there some things that took place that led up to that?
Yeah, so I had always told myself that I wasn't going to cut the hair or the beard. It was a package deal too. So if I cut one, I was going to cut the other. But I just said I'm not going to do it until I know that I want to do it. then I just kind of reached that point and I said, you know what? I wasn't doing it for anyone else. I just said, it's time to cut my hair. But one of the influences was my most recent kid, my daughter. And then my son too. I've got a daughter who's 7 months old and a son who's almost 4. And he's at the age now where he wants to wrestle and jump on my back and he wants to ride on my shoulders. And then my daughter just grabs onto my beard way more than my son did when he was that age. And it was just the daily, multiple times throughout the day where I just get my hair ripped out or my beard pulled on to where I had to stop what I was doing to like check, like, oh, did I just rip my hair out? Did he just rip my hair out? And my son was learning how to swim earlier this year. And so he's swimming and I'm kind of like, spotting him underwater and his feet and his hands are getting tangled in my hair underwater. And I'm like drowning, getting pulled down. And
Like,
so
seaweed? No, it's just dad.
yeah, right. That's what it felt like. But I was like, man, this is getting old. And then I just kind of decided I think it's time. And if anything, it'll all grow back. But that was kind of what pushed me to want to cut it.
How long had it been since your last haircut?
9 years. So my last haircut was March 20th, 2013, the day that I got out, the night before I got out of the Marine Corps. And so 2023 would have been 10 years, which would have been cool. But I don't know if that would have been a good celebration of like, hey, it's been 10 years. Now it's gone. So I figure 9 years, so yeah, 9 years I had it.
That is pretty good.
Tommy, how long has it been since you've gotten a haircut?
I couldn't tell. I don't have any significant like dates to remember it actually.
But years, many years.
It's been, it's been at least 6.
Yeah.
And I mean, I had long hair before that even. So,
right.
I mean, I haven't had short hair in like 13 years.
I'm on almost 3 years no haircut too, so we can relate a little bit. Not 9 years, but goals. #goals.
Well, honestly, I think after probably 4, maybe 5 years, I don't think it grew at all. It was just like it got to my mid back. My beard got to my nipples, and then both of them just kind of stopped. Stopped growing past that.
Just like splits.
Mine
and
still, mine still does. It definitely slows down, but at like the longest spots, it does still grow a little bit.
Yeah,
but yeah,
I've actually done some research about how to maximize hair growth, and a little bit of it is genetics. Like, I don't think that I have the genetics to grow my hair to my feet, but some people do. Mm-hmm. But it also, one of the number one suggestion I found was to keep it in hair preserving hairstyles or preserving hairstyles. So something like braids, or if you were to have cornrows, or even if you think about dreadlocks, which are just mashed together hair that just continues to grow, that'll encourage your hair to continue growing. But I wasn't going to do any of that. So. There you go.
Do you feel tamed at all in any way?
Yeah, a little bit, but so definitely, yeah.
This is a funny question, and I mean, I kind of probably know your answer. Some people might have thought, like, did you have any concern that it'd be bad for business?
Yes, people have honestly asked that, like seriously asked that.
Right.
No, not at all. I don't know anyone who would get so upset that they like cancel their gym membership or something.
Yeah.
Like, it's not the guy I knew and respected.
Right. Yeah, right.
Throw it all out the window.
Just honestly let us down. Yeah, you have no integrity.
This whole time we thought you were one of us. Phony over
here. Right. I was a little bit worried about having to explain myself like to everyone in my day-to-day, like, oh, Alan cut his hair, like, what'd you do it for? And then just walking through the gym, like, hey, yes, I cut my hair. Like, I didn't really want a huge reaction from anyone, and thankfully there wasn't any. It was like, whoa, you cut your hair, hey, it looks good, dude. And then people just kind of carried on.
Yeah.
And I liked that, but I didn't want to have to tell everyone why I did it, like every person I ran into at the gym mainly.
Well, we just made you all at once tell a whole bunch of people why you did it, so we just got it out of the way to a whole bunch of people.
I'm fine with telling the story, but it was more like in person running into everyone, having to tell them why I did it. So
We had Danny Grigsby on the podcast a while back. I'm sure you know who he is. He got the big deadlift, and he's a Marine, and he is a member of the world famous Body Bearers. And I hadn't realized it. Were you also? Was that your job at one point in time?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Oh, really?
When we had you on before, and I didn't know. I mean, I knew you're in the Marine Corps, but I didn't know that you did that.
How many people? Okay, how many people get that job? Because it's weird that we've had 2 guys on the podcast that have that job now.
Not many. There's at any point there's like 12 to maybe 15 Marines.
That's what I thought. Wow, so that is very unusual.
I suppose part of the reason that we've come across a couple though is because the nature of that job and it's having the strength standards, and that we participate in a little community or niche where you find above it. Yeah, it is still very small numbers. It is kind of odd. Yeah.
Yes, but it was just as wild for me to find out that he was a body bearer, because I had seen his world record posted a handful of times, and then I follow the world famous body bearer Instagram page, and they reposted it and said like, something, good news for the section. And I had to click through like, this guy's a body bearer. So it was surprised me too. But yeah, when I was in, it was a lot more about just being big and jacked, and more like bodybuilding stuff. Powerlifting wasn't very popular. Right. So to see a world record powerlifter in the body bear section was really cool.
Yeah, and that is
so. Yeah, it is rare.
Yeah, that's a really unique position that you hold there too. And he talked about what the strength. They have. I'm curious if this was the same when you were in it or not. He said they had very specific strength standards that you had to hit. Much different than the typical PT test standards, which they also still have to do. But they had specific barbell lifts, which. It was all 20 rep sets, and I may be misremembering some of this a little bit, but I think you had to bench 225 for 20 and like squat 315 for 20. I'm exaggerating.
So those are all to get a perfect score on the strength test. The minimums are 10 reps. So it's 10 reps, 225 bench, 315 squat, 115 pound barbell curl, and 135 pound behind the neck seated military press. I don't know if they still do behind the neck, but I know they still do the seated military press.
He said, still even 10 to 20 on those. Like that's not your average slouch isn't hitting those numbers.
Yeah. The standards are pretty high. I think that they do have exceptions if they are doing any recruiting. They do go to platoons in boot camp. So you have these recruits in boot camp, and if you look big enough, they'll kind of pull you aside and have you take a strength test, and they will be a little bit more lenient. But if you're a Marine in the Marine Corps and you have time to train and eat and all that, you're not under the stress of being in boot camp.
Right.
Yeah. 10 is the minimum.
Okay. So how would that process, was it something you sought out when you were in the Marine Corps? Or was it something that found you in a way? So
before having that job, I was presidential security at Camp David. And while you're in and so while I was there, I was into powerlifting and strongman. I had done a couple strongman competitions at the time. I was my heaviest that I've ever been. I was up to 255 body weight. There's a course, like a school called Corporal's Course, which is a couple weeks long. And I had attended that. And there's a bunch of other Marines from different sections who would go there. And the leader, he's called the guide of the body bearer section. He was there at the school with me. And he just approached me. I think he heard me talking about like lifting weights or something like that. And he saw that I was a bigger guy just compared to other Marines. And so he talked to me about the body bearer section. He said, "Do you know who we are?" And I did. And he said, "Do you think you could pass a strength test?" And he told me what the strength test was. And I said, "Yes." And so he said, "All right, well, meet me at the gym at lunch." So we had an hour for lunch that day, and we went down there, and in my camis, I did the strength test and passed. And he was like, "Do you want to be a body bearer?" And so I did that for the rest of my time. Once he asks if you want to be a body bearer, you have to go through body bearer school, which is really difficult. It's called CDS. And so anyways, you go through that, and if you graduate, then you get to be a body bearer.
At the time, was it the best feeling in the world that when you're obviously someone that lifts and someone comes up to you and says, "You look pretty big. Do you want to come do this
Yes.
strength test with me to do this special job that you have to be big and strong to do?" And you're like, "Yes, I've actually been
for this.
just waiting for so long for someone to ask me that something like this."
Yes, and I did actually want to be a body bearer, but I just didn't know how to go about it. I didn't know you could like just try out, you know. So when he asked me, I was like, I've been waiting for you to ask me. Yeah. But yeah, if you are a bigger guy who lifts weights, you do stand out quite a bit in the military because everyone runs, very stereotypical, runner, skinny, calisthenics, push-ups, pull-ups. And then there's height and weight standards also. So my maximum weight standard at the time was 203 pounds for my height. I was 6 feet tall. And I was 255. So I'm pushing 52 pounds over the weight limit. So anyways,
you had to
just
get your
stand out,
neck measured every time. At least I was in the Army, and you had to get taped when you're not meeting height and weight standard, then you have to get taped. And like if your neck measurement is big enough, then you can still pass.
Really?
Or that's what our system was like. I don't know if
so it's the difference between the size of your neck and your waist. So if you have a 40-inch waist and a pencil neck, you're in trouble.
Right.
But if you have a 40-inch waist and a 20-inch neck, you're good, you know. So I guess it's their way of measuring whether or not you're big boned, but or if you have sleep apnea, you're good to go.
Be like, you pass the standard. You also probably most certainly have horrendous sleep apnea right now.
Yeah, and even the taping, the weight standard would frustrate me because they have levels in the physical fitness test of first class would be the best PFT. You're in the higher echelon. And I would maintain a first class PFT, and I was stronger than other Marines, but there'd be Marines who were not very physically fit, not strong at all. But they were within height and weight standards, and they'd always get the green light, you know. So I was always the one hassled, which was frustrating, but you know, anyways.
So were you at Camp David with President Barack Obama then?
Yes, I was.
That's pretty cool.
Yep. It was 2010 to 2012. Yeah, is when I was at Camp David.
Yeah. You had like really cool jobs in the Marine Corps.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I did, and I'm really grateful that I got both those opportunities. I know a lot of the Marines that had different, a different situation. My brother he was a Marine before me, and he went like right after 2001. So he was in the Battle of Fallujah and all that. I just had a far different experience than I did. So I got to do, not typical Marine grunt stuff, but still really cool, honorable jobs.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. Okay. So one other follow-up question on the Marine. Would Dan Grigsby be the strongest Marine that you've ever been aware of, or is there anyone else through your time? You know, obviously you were very into lifting the whole time, and you're probably aware of any strong Marines that were around. Do you remember any stories of anyone that was particularly strong as a Marine or anything else like that other than Dan?
I would say Dan is, by powerlifting standards, definitely the strongest deadlift. There were guys in my section, and like I said, they weren't really into powerlifting. A lot of it was just being big and strong. But there was one guy in particular, his last name was Hill, and he would like power clean, just toss around 350, not in a weightlifter, just like muscle power clean 350 for reps. There were guys in the section who were benching, not powerlifters, but just muscling 405 benches for 5+ reps, doing 315 for 30 reps on bench press. And like, we kind of get jaded by it because we see what the best powerlifters do.
Right.
But to like not experience that. And at the time I didn't, I knew what I could do, and I didn't know what powerlifters were doing. But just to see these dudes who I'm trying to bench press 315 for a couple reps, and they're doing it for 20, 30 reps is just wild. But a whole bunch of guys. But I would say my buddy Paul, who I got into Strongman with in the body bear section, he was the only guy that actually did Strongman with me. I would say he was the strongest body bear, or the strongest pallbearer, I should say. So when you were on a casket with him and he was in the middle of the casket, which is the heaviest part, he was by far the strongest. It was always good to have him on your team. But it's not something that's measurable. You can't say like, he shoulder pressed this much weight. But I can say that having him it's called a tugger. Having him on the casket, you knew that he was going to be carrying a lot of the weight. So he was something about his grip and his arm strength. He could carry a casket a long ways.
Okay. Right. And you kind of have come now more as of recent, a little bit full circle on that, where you've lost, I don't know, like 40 or 50 pounds maybe, and you're running quite a bit more than you were. And if you looked the way you look now, when you're in the Marine Corps, do you, even though, you're probably in better shape and your strength isn't much different, would you have got noticed to be on the world famous body bearers, do you think, at a lighter body weight?
No, unless they were really needing some bodies to fill in, because the body bear section has, if you have 12 people in the section and 4 of them are getting out in a couple months, like they're trying to find someone to fill in. So maybe in that situation, but no, and I know this because the body bear section came to my boot camp platoon when I was in boot camp, and they have you. It's like an auction, like for like livestock or something. Like you're standing there in your little skivvy underwears, and they walk around and look at the Marines, and they kind of like look at you and like slap you on the shoulder, like, "Oh, this guy looks like he'd be good." Yeah. And so they did that to my platoon, and they walked right past me in my underwear. So they wouldn't have picked me, but I was like I went into boot camp 180 pounds, and I got down to 165 pounds in boot camp. So I wasn't noticed when I was smaller, but when I was 255, they were like, "Oh, this is a big guy. Let's see if he's strong enough." Yeah. So I think now, no, I don't think I would have been noticed.
But and you are doing quite a bit more running now. We've watched the videos and stuff. What was your original motivation into getting back into more running?
I've liked running ever since I can remember, and like now, obviously powerlifters will kind of mark their strength as how much I can squat, bench, and deadlift. But previously, before I got seriously into powerlifting and strongman, my measure of like my athletic ability was more about running, how fast I could run or how far. And so I always have liked running, but when I got into competing in strongman, and when I really got bit by the iron bug and I wanted to gain weight and get stronger, and there's nothing wrong with that, and I wouldn't have changed any of it. But I just quickly realized, hey, running's not going to help this. So I stopped doing it. And I just stopped for a long time. I kind of just had, for whatever reason, an itch this year to start running again, and just start easy. But I actually enjoy running. I'm not doing it for any reason other than I do like it. And it's my preferred method of doing any cardio. So I'm trying to kind of be my own experiment and balance it to see how much running I can get away with while still, maintaining my body weight and still being somewhat strong. So that was kind of the motivation. I've just always liked it, and I just recently got back into it.
So do you feel like, have you been able to stay what you would consider strong, relatively strong because I mean, you're doing significant running, like you're
not like doing a 5K once every 6 months.
Right.
Yeah, I have noticed. I mean, admittedly, when I did start running, I was still going to the gym just as much, maybe even more, just as often, but I just wasn't stressing about pushing the weights or putting a whole bunch of intensity in the sessions. It was kind of just lifting weights because it was good for me. So it's hard to say when in the past year, people have asked how much has running affected my strength. I don't really know. I know that my strength isn't at like an all-time high, but I think that's more because I'm not putting huge emphasis on pushing my numbers. But with that said, I have been deadlifting quite a bit, and I've got like some some deadlift and running goals, and I'm actually going to test it this week. So I'm going to go for a big deadlift tomorrow, and then I'm going to go for I'm going to test my mile time, which is not a long run, but I'm going to test my mile time the next day on Friday. So yeah, I have been putting more effort recently into deadlift just to kind of prove to myself that I can improve both simultaneously.
So you got to have some kind of numbers in mind. Do you want to share what those are? Or are those secret?
Yeah. So what I'm trying to do, just strictly for fun, I had said a while ago, I think it'd be cool to deadlift 600 pounds and run a 6-minute mile on the same day.
Yeah.
Just because we seem to like to have numbers be the same. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to test my deadlift tomorrow, and then I'm going to see if I can run that same deadlift the next day for my mile. So for example, if I can pull 550 and then run a 550 mile. I know I can't get 600 in a 6-minute mile right now. But it's also kind of this play on, I'm putting more pressure on myself to deadlift more, because then that gives me some leeway for my run, so I don't have to run as fast.
Right.
But if I shit the bed on deadlift, then I'm going to have to pick it up on the mile. So anyways, I've been doing that lately, and I'm going to actually test it this week. So
a 6 and 6 would be pretty impressive.
That's got to be a very small group of people.
Because a 600 deadlift is not, that's not people aren't, doing that.
Well, usually if I associate someone doing that, I just assume that them and running have departed ways a long time ago.
Yes.
Yeah. So now that I've been running, I've just been finding more guys who are into running and lifting. And it's kind of opened my mind to what people are capable of. There's this guy named Adam Klink, and he is or was a CrossFitter, but he was, I don't know about the first, but he squatted 500 pounds and ran a 5-minute mile on the same day. And he actually wrote a program, kind of what he was doing, and that's what I've been following, but I'm doing deadlifts instead. And then there's another guy, Marcus Hunt, I believe is his name, but he just recently he deadlifted 715, benched 360, and then ran a marathon all in the same day.
That's wild.
And so so I see this kind of stuff, and I'm like, man, maybe running doesn't kill my gains as much as I thought it would, but anyway, so, and I don't know, if these guys are elite runners who get into lifting and then their running kind of decays and their lifting improves, or if they were previously power lifters who start running and their lifting starts to go down, but the running improves, and we just kind of see where they're at. I don't know, but it's kind of cool. It's fascinating to me to see what other people can do, and it kind of opens my eyes to maybe what I can do. And it is nice to have more goals, rather than I was just so focused on squat, bench, deadlift. Now I can, try and get my deadlift to line up with my mile time, because it really means nothing other than I just like setting goals for myself. So
yeah. So what goal would you say is the more challenging one, pushing the deadlift or the fast mile?
Well, right now I know I can run faster than a 6-minute mile, so it'd be the 600-pound deadlift. But I think I can, if that was something that I really do want to push, I can, now that I already have the 6-minute mile in the bag, I can put more effort into training the deadlift. But yeah, so that's kind of what I'm doing.
Okay. You don't strike me as someone that's particularly worried about the perception of what, maybe what other people think, but do you notice, are you getting a comment your longtime lifting followers, they feel betrayed that you're out there running? Is that,
cut your hair, you're running?
Kind of,
Who the hell is this guy?
Yeah, so I know that because running is somewhat new for me, I've been trying not to post exclusively running, because people would just kind of check out to say all right, this guy's just a runner now. So I do try to still post just as much lifting, even though maybe running is more exciting for me now just because it's new. But there is definitely, while I don't really care what people think, I'm definitely trying not to just post, exclusively running content, just to kind of mix both of them. But with that said, I do like to just post on YouTube and on Instagram really what my current interests are. And if that's blending lifting and running, that's kind of what my YouTube videos are going to be about. So
Yeah, that makes sense. Neither of us are particularly big runners. I think that's safe to say. I have been running I do a mile run session like once a week, and I don't particularly push it. I just do it for, I don't know. I don't even know exactly. Like, I think I'm going to be in a little bit better shape or whatever, you know? But that is the perception out there. I think a lot of time that like, oh, you can't lift and you can't be running if you really want to be lifting, like that's kind of the old perception I think that people have.
Yeah. And I find that with running, you can do it at a much, much lower intensity, and still reap the benefits and actually see some improvement, more so than lifting. Like, I mean, if you're like lifting 20% of your max all the time, like it's probably not going to do much. But you can certainly run at like a very low heart rate, a very easy intensity, and actually reap the benefits of running, and get a lot better. Runners will talk about like 80% of your running should be in zone 2, which is like pretty low heart rate. So it doesn't have to be high intensity. And I think that a lot of people make that mistake of they're the type that goes really hard and pushes in the gym, lifting big weights and lifting heavy. And then they try to do that same thing for running. Like, I got to sprint my ass off or sprint more, run really fast or do a lot of runs, go run 10 miles and really push myself because I watch, David Goggins videos, and it's just way too much too soon. So yeah, running, you can get away with just really low intensity runs, and you'll actually get better. So
what about like all the like I don't know, running technique guys? Say someone else may, if someone else is a lifter, now they're running and they're like big into like these different there again, something I don't actually know about. So maybe it's authentic and important, or maybe it's not that important. Like, how important is like honing your technique if you're getting into running? Or should you just be running a little bit?
I always thought running was, to me, kind of just did it.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't know.
Make sure your arms aren't tossing sideways and your legs aren't going in the wrong direction.
Like, I never thought I need to overthink that much.
Yeah, I definitely don't think you need to. Like, there's an old lady who lives in my neighborhood, and I see her running. I feel like I see her like whenever I'm outside, like leaving at like 6 a.m. I see her running. So like, I feel like she's running whenever I see her. I don't know if she's running more than that or if I just see her. Anyway, she's running like multiple days a week. And she goes slow, and she's an old lady, like I'd say in her 70s. She's hunched over. Her arms are like swinging side to side. She's like kind of on her toes, like really choppy steps. And I just like kind of laughed to myself, thinking if like I was to approach her and like, excuse me, ma'am, like, you need to fix your running technique before you hurt yourself, or like you're wasting your time, or your technique, it's just like, I'm just like, good for her. Like, she's out moving, and she's getting her heart rate up, and she's probably healthier for it, so it's just, she's not on social media being told that she's, doomed because she has bad running technique, so yeah, I don't think it's that important. There's certainly like, tips to be a little bit more efficient. And if performance is your thing, like if you're like, oh, I really want to run a faster mile, then I'm sure there's some things that you could clean up, or some warm-up drills that you could do to reinforce better running technique. But no, I don't think it's like, harmful or injurious to not have great running technique.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, lifting is the same way. There are a lot of people at Untamed Strength with what we might call like pretty bad technique, but they're strong as hell and they're making a lot of progress and they're not getting injured. And like, so I think your body just kind of adapts to what it's used to. And if you're lifting with this technique, your body's used to lifting with that technique, and same with running.
One other running thing. What's this magic invisible stick that you use to shoot your videos with?
Yeah, it's called, I don't even know what the camera's called. It's a 360 camera. Yeah, I don't know what the name of it is, but it's a selfie stick, and then it's got a 360 camera on the end. And I guess just the way that the camera is built, or the stick, it just blocks out the handle, so you can't see it. So I am carrying a selfie stick, but Yeah, the camera just blocks it out so it looks invisible. It's pretty cool.
It is really cool.
It is.
It
You
looks
can see-
awesome. Yeah.
You can see my hand in a fist because I'm holding it, and then if I'm running, that hand's not like swinging very much. But yeah, it's pretty cool. And it's a 360 camera at all times, so I don't have to.
Okay.
As I'm running, I don't have to aim the lens anywhere. You just run with it, and then all of the editing is done post production. So if I was running and I wanted to, zoom, turn the camera around to look at whatever I'm seeing, I can at any point. Or if I was running in the woods and a bear runs by at whatever 2-minute mark, I can just flip the camera around afterwards, after it was recorded, and see the bear and then come back to me. So it's pretty cool to move around. I don't have to move the camera at all. So yeah, it's a cool piece of technology.
It seems like one of those things like 10 years ago, you've been like, no, I don't think that's real. And now it's just like so low key. It exists and people are like, okay, yeah, whatever. I guess that's a thing.
Yep. Yeah. And I had, when I originally saw it, it was used for like extreme sports. Like I saw snowboarders using it and stuff. And I'm like, dang, is that like a mini drone? Like following them or what?
It looks
Just
like.
floating around. Yeah. But yeah, it's a little selfie stick camera.
Huh. Do you see many bears there in Sacramento?
No, but I've been camping in Tahoe a couple times.
And if you do, you will get it on your selfie stick still. 360.
Yes, there were bear sightings. Not while I was running, unfortunately, but yeah.
Alan, we've
No
got,
bears in Sacramento.
okay. We've got the 3rd Street Barbell. It's Goody Bear. I think they have that bear in Sacramento.
Oh yeah, right. Good company. Yeah.
Yeah, good company. We've got this little game we like to play with every guest. We actually played this with you a few years ago, so I know for a fact you're familiar with it. It's called Overrated or Underrated, and we've got a specific special set of Alan Thrall topics for you, and it's your job to decide if each one's overrated or underrated, and you just got to remember you can't ride the line. You have to definitively answer on either side of the fence there.
I love it. This is my favorite segment of the whole show.
It is kind of what people tune in for. The rest of it's basically crap, and we just get to this.
Yeah, just build up.
Okay, so overrated or underrated Disneyland?
Oh man, overrated. So that if people hear this, they stop going. So it's not so damn busy. But I will say it is very fun to go with your kids.
Not just
because they get to
kids.
right.
Hey, kids,
Well, I mean,
can
if you're
join
like,
you?
if you're like going with your friend and you're taking their kids, no, but your
Yeah.
kids, it is pretty cool for them to experience it all. But yeah, I mean, going as an adult, nah. But I'm gonna say overrated.
What do you spend like in a day in Disneyland? Just like I mean, isn't that something people talk about? How they're like, oh, it's so expensive, or maybe I'm thinking Disney World. I still don't 100% know the difference in the two. So
Yeah, man, I don't even know, but it's like going to a ball game, like a baseball game or a football game. When it's like, yeah, can I have a hot dog? And it's like, oh, $13.75, and a beer is $11. It's all like that. So I spent $9.75 on a water, and
that's wild.
Yeah, because I was stuck without one. But yeah, it's just crazy. And then I asked him, I said, is there like a water fountain where I can just like get some water for free, And he's like, yeah, there's like 3 water fountains here, but I don't know where they are. This guy worked there too. He's like, you're going to have to ask around. I'm like, all right, thanks.
It's folklor that we've heard there's free water here.
And I did find one, and there was no water to it. It wouldn't work. So
just a prop.
Conspiracy, Disney conspiracy.
So were the lines insane?
Yes, but they have everything, and this wasn't my doing. This was my wife and all the other people we were with. But everything is so like automated online. Like you have to have an app for all this, unless you want to wait in line, like old school. But it's all like you have this thing called Lightning Lane, which is Fast Pass, and so you can book your Lightning Lane. Like I want to go on Indiana Jones Lightning Lane, and they'll book it. So they'll say you can go between 4:30 and 5:30 p.m. That's your Lightning Lane window. And then, so you can kind of line up your day like that.
Okay.
and they have like, you can pay more through the app to get these features. But yeah, so you have it lined up like, okay, we're going to go to California Adventure and do the Spider-Man ride between 12:30 and 1:30. And then we have to get over to this ride to do that. So they have these fast passes, but there's still a little bit of a line. Thankfully, because I was with my kids and their cousins, my nieces, they were younger, so it was a lot of the smaller rides.
Right.
So it didn't take too
get
long.
Scared then either, probably.
Yes, I was okay, thankfully.
Okay. All right. Overrated or underrated motorless treadmills?
uh,
I think
underrated.
we've seen you on an assault
Yes.
runner. We have a true form runner, I think is what we've got. So
yeah, I'm going to say underrated. I always thought that it was silly, and I have used them before, just like when I was at other gyms for like seminars and whatnot. I'd see one and kind of jump on it and always say, oh, this is too weird. I wouldn't like running like this. But it is very nice for if you're doing any interval work. So if you're doing run slow, run fast, there are some people who come down Tame Strength and do a little bit more CrossFit circuit workouts. So they'll do 5 squats and then run 400 meters. And there's not really anywhere to run here, and they're going to run around the gym. So it's nice just to hop on the motorless treadmill and just go right away and not have to get on a treadmill and like beep, 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 press it up to 11 miles an hour. And then also when you're running that fast and you want to slow down, you have to hit down or like pull the emergency red tab for it to stop. So the start and stop is very nice. It does take probably 5 or 10 minutes to get used to it.
Yeah.
Because if you're running and you kind of space out and like run and you take like a half a step forward and you catch the front of that treadmill, it like shoots your feet back. So you do have to pay attention. But yeah, I'm going to say underrated. I like it a lot.
It's funny to me that because we all so used to a traditional treadmill where it's a belt where you're beep, 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 selecting how fast you go, that like the thing that seems normal is running on this machine that you're selecting. I want to go this fast. And then the belt spins that exactly that fast. And you just keep up with it, where it seems a lot more natural to me. The thought of like, no, here's just a belt and you run on it. You run however fast,
It does make way more sense.
Yeah. It's like you will run however fast your legs
Yeah.
move you.
Yeah, it was, the hamsters had it right. So
Yeah,
the
right.
wheel is,
Right.
however fast you move your feet is how fast it's going to go.
It is weird though that I think that's seems less natural at this point in time, but
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe it was the machine thing, like but even then you're moving the machine. I don't know. Yeah. So it is strange now that I think about it.
yeah.
It's very weird to have a motor on a belt.
And that's what you think is normal if you're going to go for a run inside. Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Well, I think also because the motorless treadmills have to have that curve shape.
Right. Right.
So I don't think originally they were like, let's make this flat thing that goes around. How are we going to get it to move?
Yeah.
Okay, let's put a motor on it. So
yeah, because what you're saying is really true though too. Like, or if you like, as you're getting used to it, you're like, I want to go faster, but I feel like I'm not going faster. And then you're like, oh, my strides need to be hitting farther to the front of this. So it's actually catching the slope and like running around, because sometimes like, as you're getting used to it, you're like, I want to move more and I can't. And it's this weird, you get like stuck.
Yep. Yeah. Or if you start drifting back too far and you hit the back of it, you have to be aware of where you're running. Definitely.
Yeah. Okay. Overrated or underrated TRT?
Oh, good Lord. Overrated. And I feel like I can't say much on the topic because I'm not a licensed physician.
Right.
But just talking, especially, I'm sure you guys get talk to a lot of men too, just owning a gym.
Yep.
But yeah, I just hear a lot about it in the gym, and it's just so frustrating. Just how much weight people put on it.
That's become has become the much more popular phrase like within the last few years though too. Like,
and also not even just that, but I feel like it's like become I'm starting to get in my upper 30s. Like it's kind of what you got to do to stick around. I feel like that's becoming more, and maybe it is more, I don't know. It just comes up way more.
Yeah. And it's like, should you go on TRT? A lot of just real vague symptoms of like, I mean, do you get tired during the day? Yeah, I do. Are you not as strong as you once were? Yep. Are you getting a little fluffy? Yes, I am. All these things.
Now that you mention it.
It's just like every person in their 30s and 40s. Like, yeah. Do you want to be stronger, more muscular, less body fat? Of course.
Yeah. Do you have a pulse? Do you drink water?
yeah, right. And it's just so there's just so much marketing and money involved and selling it that it's just preying on these guys. So
maybe it was simpler just when everyone, say 15 years ago, all the lifters and stuff, when it was just either like, nope, I'm not taking steroids, or yep, I'm going to take a whole bunch of steroids and I'm just calling it steroids. Yeah. I'm not calling it, I'm not.
There's no such thing as like a little bit of steroids.
Right.
Yeah.
Like,
TRT,
no, this little bit amount
natty
is just good for me, yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Overrated, definitely.
Okay. Last one, and we usually save the best for last. Overrated or underrated Pontiac Fieros.
I don't know anything about cars. I'm like the last person to talk to about cars, and I didn't even know that's what it was when I got it. It was just like, oh, this looks like a pretty cool little sports car, like something from the 80s. But yeah, there were like one of the gym members was like, yeah, I had that car when I was a teenager, and then when I posted it, that's like the first comment. Everyone was like, Pontiac Fieros, awesome. I was like, it is.
So when you got it,
so I got to give an answer. Apparently they're underrated. They're I guess they're awesome, but I didn't know.
Like at the time though, did you know the engine was in the back, or was that a surprise too?
That was a surprise too.
Okay.
I had been looking for a car that was like within the $250 to $500 range, and I was having no luck. Like there were people on Facebook Marketplace, mainly, not so much on Craigslist, but Facebook Marketplace that had cars that were just totally picked apart, and they were like charging ridiculous, like thousands of dollars, a couple $1,000s for it. And I'm like, what would I do with this? Like, it's just a frame of an old like, Toyota. But I can't remember the exact conversation, but like paraphrasing, this guy was like, I asked him, hey, is this, are you still selling this? And he was like, yeah, make me an offer. And I had offered him $500 for this old beater car it was completely hollowed out inside. It had no engine. The tires were completely deflated.
Yeah.
And he was offended by my offer.
Like, what do you want?
He was like, he called me, I'm not going to say the word, but he called me a name. And then, and he was like, go waste someone else's time. And I'm like, dude,
like when you just said 500,
you just said, give me an offer. I said $500.
Yeah. I thought you were going to say he was excited.
Yeah. Like he's like, you idiot. I would have taken half that.
Yeah. Right. But yeah, well, so that was, I bought that Pontiac for $500, and that was the first offer. And the guy was like, done. And I'm like, damn, I should have offered lower. You're supposed to counter this. So yeah, I think it was asking a bunch of guys online for their old beater cars, and they were accusing me of lowballing them. So then I finally got this guy who would have taken my lowball offer, but I was like afraid to scare him away. So I'm like, 500? He's like, yep, sounds good.
So
would have given it to you for 100.
Yeah, for anyone that doesn't know, that's been listening and like, what is this car he's talking about? This is your dedicated, at Untamed Strength, your dedicated car deadlift car. Like it sits on the car deadlift frame 24/7, right?
Yep. So if you want to do some car deadlifts, it is set up and ready to go. Convenient.
I feel like nobody has that.
Yeah, that's a rarity, I think.
Yeah, they're the only maybe Brute Strength Gym in Virginia. They have pretty much everything you would ever need for strongman. So they might. There was actually Titan Gym, not Titan Fitness Company, but Titan.
Your old friend, Titan Fitness.
Titan Gym over in, I think they're in like Massachusetts. But anyways, they had something that I used to do. He has a barbell with car tires on it,
Right.
truck tires on it, and then you can just load plates onto it. So that would sit on the car deadlift frame, and so you had this axle with tires, and it felt like a car deadlift. So when you pick it up, the wheels kind of shift back.
Yep.
When you set it down, the wheels shift forward a little bit, so you have that little bit of rock that you get from a car deadlift. And that's what I had previously.
We've done that.
And it works really
We
well.
have a car deadlift frame down in our basement gym, and we do that exact. If someone wants to take time to set it up, that's what we do is use the axle with the deadlift tires. I think we got that from you, I'm sure, actually, now that I think about it. So
yeah, and that worked really well. But there were, at the time there were some competitions in the area that had a car deadlift, and a lot of people wanted to do it. And you kind of need a crew to, hey, will you back my car up while I like hold the frame down? And then sometimes people would be training for this competition at midnight. That's a 24-hour access gym, so people who come in here at midnight, it's not really like a one-person thing to back up your car onto a frame because the frame moves and you can't see the frame on the ground and trying to back up. So I was like, man, it'd be nice to have a car on a frame. You can deadlift it at 2 a.m. if you're here training at any time, and it just looks cool. But it's so that's what the Pontiac Fiero is from. So I found one online and bought a gym car,
and it's covered in stickers that you've accumulated. Yes,
and after several months of having the stickers on the car, as a little side note, I've learned a lot about stickers. That some are very cheap and some are like quality decals. Like after just a week of being on there, it's just a piece of dried paper that like floats away in the wind. And then there are decals there that are just stuck on there that are never. Yeah, they're gonna peel the paint off if I take them off. So it's like a mixture of like really clean looking decals and then just like, or even like it's been rained on now. And they're just white stickers. All the ink that was in the sticker is gone.
It's like paper mache.
So yeah, exactly. And then some that are like they're just bleeding onto the car, like the ink. So yeah, I think with stickers, you get what you pay for. So if you're paying for some premium decals, they're probably going to last longer than the paper stickers.
The favorite I noticed on there, I'm pretty sure I saw this from a video the other day. I had to zoom in on it. Brandon Campbell, a friend of ours, his tagline, "Bar don't lie." I'm pretty sure I saw a sticker on there that says "Car don't lie," and I thought I had to triple look at that, and I got such a laugh out of that.
Yeah, he made that and sent it to the gym. So he got it custom made. Yeah, it's been pretty cool seeing what people have sent. So the "Car don't lie" is definitely probably
that's the
tops.
best.
All the stickers.
We're gonna actually, now that I think about it, we're gonna brainstorm and maybe we can come up with a completely original sticker for it.
New
that's
angle on this.
Yeah. I'd like to outdo "Car don't lie" because that's really good.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure something
specifically incorporates the Fiero.
I love it. That'd be awesome. Yeah, there's been some people who, a lot of times it's like, hey, this is my company. If you could shout us out on Instagram, it'd be really cool to put the sticker on the car. But there are some people who send in an envelope. It's just a picture of their face, like it's a sticker of their face, and there's no context, no Instagram tag, no note. I'm just like, all right, they're going on the car. So, or just companies like there was one that was like he's a tax advisor or something. Just like any and every form of marketing, they're gonna take advantage of it. But yeah, just totally random stickers on that car, but it's cool.
Good news. It looks like you passed Overrated, Underrated for a second time now, actually. So congratulations.
2-0.
Awesome. Very happy.
One other thing I was going to ask, since we're talking about it, you literally now have a car on a dedicated deadlift platform. Untamed Strength looks like it's grown. It's enormous now. And like you have so much equipment. And like recently, I think I saw you post that you got a, what I would call like the car yoke, replica, basically, like where it's like the car yoke walk straps and you have like a frame for that to simulate that. I'm like, do you feel like you're nearing like final form completion? Like, are you struggling to think of anything, or do you think that point exists? Because we have a gym too, and I kind of sometimes think about that, but it's like there's always a never-ending list. But it seems like you kind of got almost everything.
Yeah, I have surpassed what my dream vision was of what I wanted Untamed Strength to be. Probably a few years ago, honestly. Like, it was good enough. Like, I was happy.
Yeah.
But at this point, it's more of, there's not a ton more equipment that I want or need right now. It's more of kind of just duplicating what I already have. So instead of having 1 log, I want 5 logs. And now that I have 5 logs, I want 10 logs.
Yeah.
And it's nice to have, for strongman stuff, it's nice to have a huge variety. And I like having a little bit more unique stuff so that it's not just, all Rogue Fitness stuff. I have a bunch of Rogue Fitness and I like Rogue Fitness, but anyone can get that. But it's cool to have like this big, crazy yoke or frame that was made by someone, or this company that doesn't sell a lot of equipment. So it's more like I want more frames and more circus dumbbells and more logs. One, to accommodate more people, because if it's a busy training day on a Saturday and everyone's training for strongman competitions, it's helpful to have more than 1 circus dumbbell, because a bunch of people might be training it. So just kind of adding more depth to the equipment is my goal right now, as well as there are quite a few members of the gym now who are very competitive, going to do really well and even win, or one of the women placed second at nationals, going to the Arnold, going to OSG. So they're going to these big competitions that have certain equipment that they use. And so it's nice to be able to accommodate them and say, hey, we're using the same frame or yoke that they're using at nationals or at, whatever. So having those options, I think, is the goal now. I just like acquiring more of the same stuff, as well as filling in the gaps. Like, it's funny that when I first started out, having this bare bones gym with really, like, what we might call hardcore equipment, or having a cool squat rack or a power bar was very unique, because people are coming from commercial gyms. So they want this hardcore stuff. They want an Atlas stone because they've never seen one. But now that all these, all the members and all these people have access to Atlas stones and sandbags and cool hardcore equipment, they want more of the commercial stuff back.
Right.
I want those. I want that hamstring machine because I like doing accessories with it. Or it'd be nice to have a treadmill to warm up on. So it's like we get all of the stuff that they didn't have, and now they want the stuff that they used to have. So it's just kind of like filling in everything. And eventually I'm going to be pressured into getting a gym pool, which might go on the top of the gym. I don't know. But, so I have noticed that.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So yeah, people who train at commercial gyms really want the unique strength equipment. And then people who have been in these warehouse gyms for the last 5 years are like, it'd be cool to have a nice Smith machine for accessories,
Yeah, that's true. I think that's funny. That's a good point. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's really good. We appreciate it, Alan. I believe everyone can find you at Untamed Strength on Instagram and YouTube. Is that right? And is there anywhere else people should be checking you out at?
That's it. Just Untamed Strength and YouTube. The gym, if you're listening and you're in the area, Northern California area, the gym is Untamed Strength. It's in Sacramento, and the website's trainuntamed.com.
Excellent. We appreciate it. It's a lot of fun. We're thankful that you came back on again.
Absolutely. Thanks for the invite. And I'd like to do a third time.
Yeah, we'll get a hold of you in like 2024, 2025.
About 100 weeks.
Does that work for you?
Sounds good.
All right.
Thanks,
see you, Alan.
Alan.
Thanks.
All right. See you guys.
Cool beans. Cool beans.
He got the cool beans.
Give him the double serving, didn't you?
Double serving.
Every week
he's
I'm
been on
not
twice now.
Yeah. Oh yeah, so he's
that's
got
why
like
normally people
4,
don't get that.
Every week I'm going to try to act more surprised that you give him the double double serving. Really, I'm feeling generous today.
Okay, yeah, all right. Well, I guess he deserved it.
Yeah, Alan's a lot of fun.
He is. Yep. He's a good guest always.
Yeah,
Plenty to say. interesting takes on things.
Yep.
Experienced a lot. Yeah, it was. I seriously thought you were just like throwing a random guess out there that he did the body bear. I mean, did you?
I think I knew someone
Okay.
somewhere. I think maybe Grant from the Strength Co told me that one time, and
like
I'm
that's
digging
just
back.
mind
in my
blowing to me
memory.
that he
because Grant
did that.
also a Marine.
Yes.
You know, we've had quite the list of
Marines
on the podcast before.
We have just a weird coincidence, I
Yeah.
guess. Tanner, I'm going to tell you about a little story here.
All right.
That story is from our friends at Texas Power Bars. Buddy Caps first started lifting weights in the late 60s and began powerlifting in the mid-70s. At the time, he was working for Image Barbell, building gym equipment. Around 1976, a local machine shop started making Olympic bars for them, calling it the Image Bar. In 1977, see, the interesting part here is they talked about 1976, and they're talking about 1977. And I'm thinking, oh, Buddy Caps is doing all this stuff while Dazed and Confused is taking place?
Oh.
Where does Buddy Caps fit into that movie?
Yes, they do. Buddy Caps.
It's like to think he's in the
keeps
car with
making
Matthew
more
McConaughey
barbells.
at the same time.
Yes,
You know,
they do.
they're all kind of hanging out together. But in
Be a lot cooler
1977
if you did make your own barbell, though, Buddy Caps.
in 1977, when he wasn't attending parties and checking out the local scene, he
Go to the water tower.
Image Barbell then became Champion Barbell. It was then that Buddy started looking at the bars with the intent of changing them for the better. In 1979, Buddy bought his first lathe to begin addressing the known issues. In 1980, his passion, drive, and purpose now had a greater mission. Buddy set out on his own to make what he believed was the greatest bar he'd ever seen and trained with, and the Texas Power Bar was born. It was strong as a house with the best in Early and was maintenance-free. Hundreds of state, national, international, world, and Massenomics powerlifting records have been and continue to be set and broken on the Texas Power Bar. To learn more about Texas Power Bars and buy one of their legendary bars, visit TexasPowerBars.com.
TexasPowerBars.com. Dazed and Confused. Funny how like all those 35-year-olds were in high school.
It's Hollywood for you. That's the 90s
I guess
for you.
Matthew
That's the
McConaughey
70s for you.
Yeah. Do you want to strap in for this one, Tommy? I got something you need to strap in.
Yeah. Let's strap on in.
We're everyone strap on and strap in because I want to tell you about SPUD Inc. You can check them out at spud-ink-straps.com. And while you're there, make sure to check out the Safety Rack Strap Set. What's that? The Safety Rack Strap Set was made to provide a higher caliber system of protection and performance for the athlete. Most Safety Rack Strap Sets are designed just to catch the weight in case of a drop. The SPUD Inc. Safety Rack Strap Set, like all SPUD Inc., is made to keep you ultra safe, but also perform multiple exercises pull them off, such as pin presses, suspended good mornings, pause squats, suspended military press, and so on. The ends are 3/8-inch steel, and the straps is reinforced all the way around, creating a more stiff absorption point wherever the bar lands. In other words, the goal was to get as close to a dead stop as possible, but leave you a position to re-engage the rep in a more suitable leverage position. There's a lot of good. I could go on to tell you the truth about this, about the Safety Rack Strap Set. And if you can't visualize, this would be for inside a power rack strap set instead of pin pipe safeties.
Sometimes seeing is believing. People should probably just look into this.
And if you want to do that, you can go over to spud-ink-straps.com. And when you're there, as long as you order $75 or more, you can get free shipping. And make sure to let them know your good old buddies at Massenomics sent you. Thank you, Spud Inc.
Thank you.
Well, Tommy, we covered a lot of ground today, didn't we?
We did, actually.
And you know what we never even talked about? All our new drop from not that long ago. You know, I'm wearing the...
We're getting really good at waiting until the end of the podcast to talk about
it's
those
just a test to see if people tuned in. I'm wearing the Never Gonna Stop tee. I like this tee.
It is a nice tee.
I've been wearing this one for days.
I had it on the other day. I've had the sweatshirt
I'm never
on for
gonna
days.
stop wearing it.
I'm never gonna stop.
You're talking about the Massenomics sweatshirt.
Yep.
The hoodie.
Our no vowels
NMX.
hoodie.
Yeah. A lot of people running with good no vowel jokes.
Mm-hmm.
Love that hoodie. That hoodie's been hitting a lot of final destinations this week, and I've heard nothing but good reviews.
A lot of really
back
good
on
feedback.
that.
A lot of people saying this is my favorite blend of hoodie yet.
Yep.
which is nice because we felt the same way.
Yeah. So that is, I finally were justified on that. And then people have been getting the socks. I'm not wearing the socks right now.
I'm not wearing this. I've worn them so much they're all dirty.
But I have seen a lot of good feedback on the socks as well. And I do really like the socks. I've been continuing to wear those. And then
there's the mug.
Last and least, the mug. People overall, I guess, pretty decent reviews about the mug, which is surprising.
I think we're just setting the bar so low on the mug.
Yeah. Last and of course least, the mug.
I really enjoyed Big Jeff's meme about the mug today.
Which one is
do not put it in the dishwasher.
Okay, because so the thing about the mug, will last longer if you don't put it in the dishwasher. Some people have put it in the dishwasher.
Against better
against
judgment.
our rule, against what we
warnings,
suggest.
better judgment. We now know who lives recklessly in the group here.
I assume you haven't seen it. Is it Gremlins or what do you not put in the not let up stay up after midnight or whatever?
Oh, I could see how that'd be. I haven't seen Gremlins, but I could see how that'd be a Gremlins
it's like
thing.
You don't put the Massenomics mug in the dishwasher because stuff will happen and you don't want to find that out. So don't.
Some people say nothing happens.
Yeah.
But we're saying stuff could happen.
So
I've actually sent one of mine through the. Actually, I shouldn't say that. I should say my wife put some through the dishwasher.
My wife. Yeah.
Okay, that just reminded me. Did you see what I tagged you in? I wanted to tell you this the other day, and I didn't know if you actually saw
my
her.
knife.
Yeah.
Yes. A lot of people tagged Massenomics in that.
It's so
good.
dumb. I got to pull it up here.
It was really good.
What if Michael Myers finally spoke, and his first words were "my knife" in a Borat voice? Like, it's just so stupid, you know.
Yes. I like that. It was a good timely Halloween joke too.
Yeah.
I wish we would have came up with that. Instagram.
We would have gotten literally tens, if not hundreds, of likes on Instagram.
Instagram had a little wacky thing the other day. Bunch of people's accounts were getting
deleting everyone.
We went down like at one point almost 1,000 followers, and then they all magically came back like later that day.
Yeah, a lot of people we knew said their account was just gone.
Yeah,
which that would suck.
That would suck if that happened to the Massenomics account.
That
I'd
would
be
really
pretty concerned about that.
I would let them destroy my personal account 50 times over before taking the Massenomics account down.
Absolutely.
That would really hurt. That would suck.
I was a little worried that would, losing.
I never even thought about it from that perspective.
Yeah. Losing 1,000 followers, it's like, well, I don't know. It is really a vanity metric at that point, unless it's going to double in size or something, then that's probably
Could you
helpful.
imagine trying to start an account from scratch in these days with everything going on?
It is.
They might as well, when you go sign up for an Instagram account, they might as well just have a box that says, "Are you sure you even want to do this?
Right?
Are you sure this is even worth your time?"
Like, oh, you're a business trying to use this
I
program.
agree that I think this is worth my time, but really, like, they should make you check a box.
But are you sure? Because no, we're not. We're going to make sure, even if people choose to follow you, we are going to make sure they do not see what you have to
Even
post.
if you pay us money, we will also make sure people do not see it.
Yeah. And we talk a lot of about this stuff behind the scenes, but there's a lot of odd, I don't even know. We won't get into it on the podcast today because I could probably talk for just an hour about this, but like what Instagram chooses to I don't know if promote's the right word, but even just like get in front of
present.
Yeah.
And like we've always been kind of roll with the punches with Instagram.
Right.
Like, we get it. It's a faceless machine that you're just kind of fighting
at
against.
their mercy. Yeah.
But man, whatever settings they have dialed in on that machine right now are almost like against what you even want. Almost against what anyone wants right now.
And we're not even just referring to our account. Our account, we're also, from talking to others and also like monitoring some of what you see on other people's. It's pretty wild, like how
little engagement they allow some accounts to have.
Right.
It's shocking actually that this many people can say, "Oh, I have signed up to follow this account," and Instagram says, "No, okay. Well, we will show this to 0.01% of the people."
Yeah, and why can't I know we've said this amongst each other at least. Obviously TikTok has become very popular, like maybe the most widely used app.
I believe it is
there is. But why can't there be a social media app that focuses on picture. Like why did Instagram also have to be TikTok?
I think it's just.
And why does YouTube have to be TikTok? With their shorts, and then why does Facebook have to be like? I guess obviously like not to somebody somewhere knows what they're doing, but I'm like
maybe,
but my thing is. Why isn't there a demand for a social media platform where pictures are maybe like the primary focus?
I think on the people side of things, there is that demand, but I don't know if on the business Wall Street side of things that fits that business case.
Yeah.
I mean, it has to be like, I don't see them doing it for any other reason other than they think it's going to make them more money.
Yeah.
Like,
higher returns.
Yeah. Why are they going to like pivot the whole way people expect this app to work unless they think it's going to make them more money? Like it wouldn't make any other sense.
Isn't Facebook doing absolutely horrible right now though? Maybe they should be listening to us.
Take a look at that. Well, it's because they're trying so hard on this metaverse thing, which is hilarious how bad it's failing. We were mentioning this the other day. Let's just since we're on the topic, let's just look really quickly here. So they're high. Yeah,
and I say Facebook. I know the company,
Meta. Yeah, whatever.
I don't know that. That still seems weird.
Everyone still knows they're not fooling anyone. Their high for their stock was like 380, 390-ish.
And that was how long ago?
That peak was in September of last year.
Just over a year ago.
Yeah, just over a year ago. And so from September 20, yes, just over a year ago. And now, so they've gone from about 390 a share to they are now trading as of today $90 a share.
Yeah. So it's cut less than 25% of it.
Basically 75% they're down.
Right.
I was actually watching a video on this. It was today talking about like how bad of a failure this metaverse thing is and just how no one uses it and how just they're not getting anything right on it. And I'm not to say like I think VR is cool, and I think like VR and AR has tons of possibilities, but it does seem like Facebook is going about it in the worst way because they can't get anyone excited about it.
Right.
But like Mark Zuckerberg's money, his wealth, he was one of the 10 richest guys in the world. His wealth is so tied directly to the stock price that this is like destroying his net wealth. Yeah, he's gone from being one of the 10 richest guys, whether it's in America or the world. I mean, the number kind of is irrelevant, but like he's not in that group anymore. Like he's no longer in there because the stock is tanking so hard and investors aren't showing any confidence in his vision that he has for this metaverse thing that's not panning out at all. So be interesting to see what happens in the next. I mean, Facebook is going to still make tons of money off of the ad thing. Like they always got that. But
and I'm sure old Zucks will be fine, but probably doesn't like it.
Yeah. I think they're laying off quite a few people too, and
Twitter's got weird stuff going on too, doesn't it?
They do.
There's all kinds of weird.
Oh my god!
We're actually our conversation ended in like that's a really weird. Right now, the time we live in this second is a really weird time for social media.
It is.
It's like I think the weirdest.
It was kind of like there was like this period from
like the golden era,
2012 to like 2018, where you kind of knew what was going on, what to expect at what social media platform.
Yeah.
And it kind of felt like positive. Like it felt like you could get in and you could make content and you could
be a part
get
of
engagements and you could be a part of the community and you could gain followers and make connections. And now
find your community.
It almost feels like all social media is not only like hostile to the users, but like hostile to the world in general. Like it all feels like it's this negative like energy pool of just the worst everything.
At Twitter right now, aren't they talking about like that they're forcing like that people are having to work like 80-hour work weeks?
That's what the reports are. Like there's the reports of
but
that.
They're going to downsize the workforce.
There's talks of like mass firings and 80-hour work weeks and hit this deadline or you won't work here. But then there's also you get reports at the same time of Elon saying, no, none of that's true. None of that's true. And I'm like, okay.
My thought,
all that shows again is there's something messed up happening there.
Yeah. And my thought was like, the one little thing I read, it didn't talk about this, but I'm like, he's talking about wanting to downsize the workforce. And then that makes, make them work 80 hours a week because then you don't have to fire people. It's going to be survival of the fittest. And you just like,
well, why would you even decide to work there? If you're like a software engineer, why do you say,
you would just,
this is where I will decide to work.
But then I suppose it would just take care of it. You're just like, well, we don't have to fire you because everyone, we just lost 75%.
You think at a certain point though, like, and I don't work in the tech world, but places do develop reputations. You would think at a certain point,
They
like
become
people are just like,
forbidden fruit.
like, no, you just think like, okay, you have that reputation. I'm not going to go there.
Right.
No matter how much you pay me,
Right.
I'm not going to go there.
Yeah, they're tainted.
But I
Yeah.
guess at some point, if they get enough money, people will do anything for money. So I don't know. But yeah, social media, it's
like
so
sell
weird.
overpriced shorts.
That's right. But it is. We were just saying it. It's just social media is in such a weird spot right now. It's like everything's kind of trying to be TikTok, but also not be TikTok, but also everyone hates it, but they use it at the same time. And they may or may not have these evil geniuses. I use both of those terms in very relative meanings, but you have these, I don't know, egomaniacs, I should say, running your companies that are essentially deciding like what the rest of us get to read and see on a daily basis. It's all so bizarre.
Yeah.
It's kind of messed up. It kind of just feels like there's too many, I don't know. It's weird, man.
Twitter in general is still a weird.
And also, who uses Twitter?
Yeah.
That's actually the biggest question. Who the hell is using Twitter? God.
And I know there'll be a few people listening. They're like, "Oh, it's my favorite one."
Oh, I get so much. Stay up on all the news that's happening on there. Yeah, there's also news websites that do the exact same thing.
Well, and I guess if I Google something, the Twitter hits are one of the things that come up. But that's how I check it. I Google it, and like the popular tweets like will come up in a Google search.
Yeah.
I don't need the app really.
You don't. I know. There was one time where I thought Twitter was kind of fun and exciting. And now it just seems to be like that's where politicians go to try and give their hot takes to like try to prove how relevant they need to be. And also that's where celebrities go to say really dumb things to ruin their careers. Like, it's like, is Twitter good for anyone at this point anymore?
We had there was at one point in time there was a Massenomics Twitter.
There was,
but it went extinct.
It had to go bye-bye.
Yeah. There is a TikTok.
There is,
and I'll go in streaks of trying to use that and then I'll get like, nope, there's not value here, and then I'll be like, probably should do it.
Get back on the horse, give it another try.
I'll be like, nope. But I think the biggest problem of why Massenomics TikTok, at least for now, won't take off is because even if I'm posting on it, I'm not using the app. And I think you need to be really
very in tune.
Yeah,
with the trends.
Right. I do think you need to be using the app to some degree if you really want to try to get the app to work for you.
You got to know what dance moves hit the hardest to what songs.
Yes. Where it's like on Instagram, if all we ever did was just go on and throw our post on there.
Yeah, you can just be like your own little unique voice in the world. Where the whole, I guess I don't use TikTok, so maybe what the hell do I know? But from the outside looking in, TikTok is just a freaking trend. Like, you got to go with the flow. You got to chase what the algorithm wants harder there than anywhere, don't you?
Yeah, I think so. In one other bit of news, in gaming news, I do have a Nintendo Switch now.
You do, yes.
I mean, yes. Jack has it.
Yeah.
My son, but
so you're officially a gamer
Switch.
family now.
Yep, we're big gamers.
Have you been playing it much at all? I saw there was some Excite Bike on it the other day.
Yeah,
I actually loved Excite Bike. That was one I always enjoyed a lot.
Excite Bike was one of my favorites. This, along with all the games, I have this nostalgia for these games.
And then you're like, oh.
They are so, and I know people say this even, and it is true, but they are so underwhelming.
Yes.
That I'm like, to the point of I'm like, well, how did I think this was fun?
Yeah, let me explain to you.
How did I do this for more than 5 minutes? Because right now I can't do it for more than 5 minutes.
Let me explain to you what we did for fun when we were kids.
And, Jack was like, so you just hold down the button? And I was like, yeah, but you can't overheat. So you have to also let go of the button. So I'm like, all I'm doing in this game, is like, all you do in this game
is like a button, huh? Yeah. And it looks like that and it sounds like that? Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah,
but after we got done riding our bikes for 12 straight hours, we had to do something different.
It's true.
And we'd already watched Billy Madison 30 times.
So we played Excite Bike.
So we were like, Excite Bike was the next thing, yeah.
Well, I've also played Tecmo Bowl. And there again, I'm like, I don't know.
I never liked the sports games when I was a kid. And a lot of people did. I never liked those, though.
Yeah, and so he's not so much about the old ones, but we did get them just because I don't know. It's a thing you can get. There's Nintendo 64 games on there too. I haven't looked into that. Some of those could be fun, but then also it doesn't have I want it to have GoldenEye or 007.
Yep.
You know, and I wanted to have like NFL Blitz and like 1080 snowboarding, and it like doesn't have like
Those aren't.
I think the library is maybe ever
Okay.
expanding, and that's
Okay.
probably part of what they do is
In that same vein though of like how some of this stuff sucks so bad. Mario of any kind still holds up so good.
Oh,
like
Mario
it's-
1 and Mario 3 are both still really good games. And
They
we
do.
did bust those out a little bit, and I'm like, I think Mario 3 is the best Nintendo game, in my
NES?
opinion. Yeah,
Probably,
NES.
Like Super Mario World is still amazing too. Like
Yep.
those games they hold up.
Super
really
Mario
well.
is really good too. I like Super Mario. I like. So you're talking about Super Nintendo
yeah,
Mario.
and Super Nintendo.
Yeah. I really like that Mario also, but I think I like Mario
3 is the
3
most-
better than on.
That's probably the one I've played the most. Would be 3.
Yeah.
Um,
Like the final level when you're on like that pirate ship and stuff is just.
with all the fire going.
Yeah.
everywhere.
If you don't get nervous when that's going on, you don't have a pulse. If you don't get a little sweaty and like that's a good game. But so he has whatever games, but then I always liked 2K. And he has NBA, we got NBA 2K for it, and I am shocked.
Like the newest one.
Yeah. And I'm shocked at how good it looks on a
on a handheld
thing.
Yeah,
and I'm like, what?
It probably looks better
the hell
because it's
is
an
this?
OLED screen.
Yeah,
Like
and I was
it's-
just like, but I do like how you can like play it off the TV or on the screen and stuff like that. So there's some cool functionality of video games that didn't exist back when I still played video games.
Yeah, they also have this new feature now where they basically turn children into gambling addicts. I don't know if you're aware of that one or not.
Yeah. No, that's not
And
a
society has determined, we're okay with that.
Yeah. We have pretty strict rules on it, at least as of now, with it being new. Of like, they do have good. Nintendo at least has features in there like where I can control.
Like some parental stuff in there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which
That
is
you
good.
can only spend $500 this month on.
Or basically you can't spend any. Like that actually is just a rule that I've set in place. I'm like, you're not allowed to
Spending
spend
money
any
on-
money
on virtual
in
costumes.
a game. Yeah, like I am pretty wholeheartedly against that. I know that that's a boomer take, I'm sure, but I'm like, no, we'll buy games. We'll buy it if you want to spend,
play them.
Yeah,
But we're not buying
you are
virtual
not
decorations.
you are yes, I will not do that. Maybe you convince me if it's a shooting game that the only way you can get this gun is to do it. I'm like, maybe you could occasionally convince me on that. It will not be for the
we're not going to pay money to get these pixels to light up in a different pattern.
right.
It's big business though.
Yeah, and I'm a gamer now, so I'm just another cog in the whole gaming machine.
Yep, that's how the world works now.
Yeah. That's
You're a gamer. Start watching some Game of Thrones. Are you done with Game of Thrones yet? Or whatever the hell the new one's called?
Yeah.
You did watch all of it?
Yeah.
It's still on our to-do list. It's
All I'd say, I won't spoil anything for that, but I liked it.
Okay.
But I am not fantasy like Lord of the Rings is good. It doesn't excite me that much. Like these shows are good. They don't excite me that much. However, Game of Thrones is so good. The original Game of Thrones television
Now to
show.
take drama and just crank it up 20 levels.
I am actually now rewatching Game of Thrones.
It doesn't matter if you're a fantasy person or
No,
not. It's
and
just
I am not.
It's
That's
just
like I'm
high
not
drama.
at all.
Is what I always say. Like it's.
But what the new one lacks that the original one, what makes it so good to me is following so many different storylines and the moving around that you're like, oh, thank God we're back to these people. I can't wait to find out what's going on with them.
You couldn't. It's very, very hard to say, especially in like the first 2 seasons. Like this is the main. This is the main character. Like you couldn't really say that.
There's like 7 different main.
You get done with an
things going
episode, and you're like, okay, I think this guy's the main character, and then you don't hear from him for 2
Right,
hours, 3
right.
hours. That's what I love about shows. Like The Wire's kind of the same way.
It is.
It's more of the there's a term
I
for
still haven't seen The Wire.
I know.
I'll probably watch Game of Thrones a 3rd time before I see The Wire.
Oh, I'm 300 hours deep in Game of Thrones, and I still haven't had time to get to The Wire. But it's more of they're all just. I think what makes those shows so good is you can see how they're all just like a cog in the wheel.
Yeah.
Whereas in a lot of the other they're like one gear on the cog, or one tooth on the cog. Where, as in a lot of other shows, like you know who the cog is, like, and then the world revolves around them. Where it's like, no, you're just one little piece, and if whether you're here tomorrow or a year from now or 3 years from now on the show, it doesn't matter. Like, it's going to keep moving,
right?
And that's what makes us so good,
right? I agree.
Everyone seems so fragile at any given point.
The new one, there is really good dragon action, so people are going to like the dragon action, of course, but. I don't know. I never relied on the dragon action to make the show good for me.
No,
like
it's cool and it's like it's a badass, but it kind of always felt like a gimmick to me. I'm like, this is entertaining, but I want to know what the hell these people are gonna do. What's going on here?
And I did rewatch. I made it to the scene where Half Thor.
We're talking Game of Thrones.
The original one. It's actually really fun watching because I watched those in real time when they came out. So it's been a long ass time since I've seen these. So I'm like, oh my God, this is like I'm getting to rewatch it all over again. I'm like so excited for 10 years from now when I get to rewatch it again and be like, this is like new again.
Yeah. But Half Thor seems like half the person he is.
Well, so and it's funny. There was 2 or 3 people that played that character before he comes on in season 4.
Because he's more like covered, isn't he?
Not right away in season 4, but then he gets zombified or whatever, and then he's always really covered. But in the first 2 or 3 seasons, it's not Half Thor. It's a completely different actor.
Okay.
See, like they have
now. Yeah,
that. Not only is it one completely like in season 1, it's one guy. In season 2, it's a guy, and then eventually in season 3 or 4, it becomes Half Thor. And then when he talks, it's not his voice even. So I'm like, what was he even doing? He was just standing there,
just
looking
like a
big.
body double. Yeah. That made it onto screen.
Yeah, because I'm like, it's so weird, having like. You
listen who that guy is.
Stood there next to him and interviewed him before you know his voice, and then you watch it on TV. And at the first time I watched it, I wouldn't have necessarily known that. I'm like, oh, what is his voice? It's like off-putting to me that it's so wrong. See,
I already forgot about. I can't even really picture or remember what his voice was like now.
Yeah, that's. But what I was gonna say, the scene where he crushes his skull. Is so good that I was like, I'm like, that is horrific, and I really like it. That's it. Tommy, where do they? Is there anything else? Did we kind of cover everything?
I'm going on vacation. We'll talk about that when I get back.
Okay, yeah, that'll be more exciting to talk about the vacation
on the other
vacation.
side of it versus Yep. We'll talk about that when I get back.
Because North Dakota is really nice this time of year. So
hopefully we can beat that cold front.
Yeah. And in the meantime, where do they find you? Maybe you'll post vacation.
Maybe if you want to
pics.
keep up on some vacation pics, you can follow me.
Do you think you'll post any vacation pics?
I'm pretty sure I will post at least one.
Okay,
maybe even
one. Maybe one carousel of
maybe some live videos. I'm more of a
stories.
I'm more of a story guy when it comes to vacations. So
yeah,
I'll probably have some of those. I'll probably have at least a picture though.
Stories are good.
Yeah,
capture good kid things in the stories.
Yeah,
and
all that.
All right.
And you can find me at Tomahawk_D.
You can follow me at Tanner_Baird. No vacation for me, so nothing to check out. But check out Massenomics. It's like Massenomics is on a forever vacation. That's at Massenomics.
See ya.